Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, February 22nd, 2019. Gold opened Friday at $1,326. Silver opened at $15.87. And Bitcoin was trading around $3,942. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a federal magistrate on Friday ordered the government to disclose to him and to plaintiffs' attorneys a list of private organizations that receive access to the government's list of known or suspected terrorists. The Associated Press reports that Judge John Anderson issued the ruling at the conclusion of a hearing in U.S. District Court in Alexandria, which he angrily questioned government lawyers about their failure to previously disclose that hundreds of private entities, like universities and hospitals, receive access to the list. The government admitted earlier this month in a court filing that private groups like universities and hospitals receive access to the list, after denying in previous court hearings and depositions that they do. A government lawyer said the oversight was a mistake and there was no intention to deceive. The Council on American Islamic Relations is challenging the watch list's constitutionality. It says innocent Muslims are placed on the list by mistake and suffer numerous consequences as a result. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, February 22nd, 2019. Your news now continues. As the world increasingly turns toward automation, science fiction is fast becoming a reality as automated solutions spring up both on the battlefield and in civilian life. Activist Post reports that in the southwestern Indian state of Kerala, a new type of police officer has been sworn in. It's a robot cop going by the name KP Bot. The KP Bot has already attained the rank of sub-inspector, and according to India Today, already knows how to practice a perfect salute. The KP Bot is part of a push to integrate robots into the police force, which was announced last year by the state police chief at the Cocoon Cyber Conference, according to India Today. However, the KP Bot isn't quite ready to man a black and white or engage in beat cop activities. The female-featured robot will be restricted to the traditionally gendered occupational role of receptionist. U.S. government-sponsored student loan debt has become an escalating problem for the finances of many American households. Activist Post reports that the latest household debt report from the New York branch of the Federal Reserve indicates that Americans collectively owed $1.46 trillion in student loans at the end of 2018. That's more than any other category of non-housing related debt. Worse, the percentage of student loan debt that's in serious delinquency, where no debt payments have been made for at least 90 days or longer, has remained stuck within a range between 10.7% and 11.8% of the total borrowed since 2012. That's the highest of all forms of household debt. Since most of the money was borrowed from the U.S. government, the inability of American households to repay student loans represents a drain on the U.S. government's finances, where seriously delinquent student loans drive up the nation's budget deficits. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has stated that the burden of student loan debt hurts American households and will hurt the nation's economy. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is found online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
The Subway restaurant chain has reacted with shock this week after executives discovered that many customers are apparently purchasing footlong sandwiches and eating the entire 12 inches by themselves. A spokesperson for the company addressed reporters this morning.
This is not how our products are intended to be consumed. Our footlong subs have always been meant to be shared among 2 or more friends. Eating an entire foot of food shouldn't be possible for most people, but they've been doing it somehow, and it needs to stop.
To encourage healthier eating habits, Subway is clarifying its marketing, adjusting language on menus and in television commercials like this one. $5 footlongs? Wow, that's $2.50 per person. Subway's corporate leadership says they were horrified to learn of the misunderstanding.
It's frightening. I mean, you don't see people eating entire pizzas by themselves. We even cut the footlongs in half into 2 regular-sized sandwiches before handing them to you. But I guess that wasn't clear enough.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll free. You can take control of the airwaves if you want, or not. It's fine too. Most of you will not, and that's okay. With you tonight, it's Ian
and Chris.
And so international news to start with here. Then coming up, violent video games. Is there a link between violence in video games and teenage aggression? Chris, you've got the story about that. That's on the way here tonight. And our toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Before we get to that, we'll talk about real-life aggression from the hands of the Venezuelan troops to via bullets into the bodies of the opposition down there. For those that are maybe newer to the show and have not heard what's been going on down in Venezuela, it's hard to encapsulate it into a 30-second recap, but basically the country has been devastated by hyperinflation and socialism that has resulted in people not trusting the elections anymore. There's two individuals who are claiming to be the president of the country. One, Nicolas Maduro, who was the most recent president. He's saying he's now in for a second term. And then there's another guy named Juan Guaido, who is claiming he is the true president of the country, that the people of Venezuela are fed up with this Maduro character and all the socialism, and so they're going to put a different socialist in, Juan Guaido. And so that's what the conflict has been. Different countries around the world, governments have been weighing in on who they are recognizing as the president, the true president of the country. So Trump, for instance, and a bunch of the Latin American countries, many in Europe, are acknowledging that Juan Guaido, they say, is the president, and Maduro is being acknowledged by countries like Russia and, I believe, Iran. Probably Cuba as well. In fact, we can talk about Cuba coming up here, too. There's an interesting story about them getting a little bit more internet access, which is kind of a game changer for people that are historically very oppressed and unfree. So the conflict there in Venezuela hasn't just been political. There's been a lot of protests that have been happening like in the streets.
Like everyday kind of protests.
Yeah, I don't know how heavy they are every day. Certainly, there's probably something happening on a daily basis. A couple of years ago, there was a prolonged...
It seems like there's nonstop protests in the news. I don't know if that's just fabricated.
It's hard to know what's true. I mean, as far as the news, I actually have, one of our listeners on our Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm put in our news and show prep room a link to RT. Now, remember, RT backs the current president, or Russia.
Russia does, yeah.
Right, and RT stands for Russia Today, and it's funded fully by the Russian government.
Well, it would be interesting if they had a different perspective.
They do, and that's what I was going to tell you.
Okay,
so
interesting.
RT has an article here and video title, "Where Are the Empty Shelves? Max Blumenthal Tours Caracas Supermarket." So the claim that we've made on the air has been that it's hard to find food, that there have been lines. I mean, over the last few years, these reports have been coming out fairly consistently.
Nonstop.
Out of Venezuela, that it's very, very hard to get the most basic food items, that many people spend hours and hours and hours, like 30-something hours a month, just waiting in lines outside of grocery stores to try to get whatever limited amount of supplies are being delivered to that store. And like if you try to take a picture of the line, a military guard who's standing and watching the line will steal your camera from you, right? So that's the claim, is that not only are these lines present and the food is very, very not so present, but also if you try to provide evidence of it and they see you doing it, they'll take your camera from you. They don't want to get it out.
It's interesting because I've seen pictures of lines, presumably in Venezuela, of these grocery stores. So I mean, people are either getting them or they're fake or something.
Wait, you're saying the lines are fake?
Well.
Or the pictures?
I guess the pictures.
Yeah, I've seen a picture or two as well.
Because they're certainly plastered all over the news. Whether or not that, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean they are fake. It obviously you could get a hidden. I mean, there's got to be. If this is happening every day, I have a hard time believing that there's going to be a guard who's going to be able to prevent a hidden camera from taking a picture or somebody.
Yeah, people are going to get the photos.
Yeah, it's
sure.
just there's cameras everywhere, and even in Venezuela, you're going to have cell phones with cameras in them and things of that nature.
Still, though, it makes you wonder where the truth actually lies, because both sides have an interest in portraying their version of the story as well as they can, whatever propaganda it is that they want to get out there. And there's nothing inherently wrong with propaganda as long as it's telling the truth. But the question is this propaganda telling the truth on either side? So I mean, there's just so much to cover here, but let's start with the shooting, and then we can get into the grocery stores and see what you think is actually going on. If you want to weigh in, you can join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. The story from The Independent over in the UK, Adam Forrest reporting that at least one person has been shot dead by Venezuelan security forces during a clash on the border with Brazil. According to local officials, another dozen people were injured after troops opened fire in the eastern town of Cumarakpe on Friday, according to doctors and witnesses. Gran Sabana Mayor Emilio Gonzalez identified the woman who was killed as Zoraida Rodriguez, a member of an indigenous community. The mayor said the members of the Pemen indigenous group clashed with the Venezuelan National Guard and the army, who were moving tanks to the border. Gonzalez claimed the soldiers fired rubber bullets and tear gas. Some members of the area's indigenous community have expressed their support for the opposition's plans to bring in foreign aid over the border this weekend, despite the objection of President Nicolas Maduro. So what did Maduro do? I don't know if you heard, but he closed the border to Brazil.
Wow. The entire border was closed.
Yeah.
Not just the aid trucks?
No, the entire border has been closed amid an escalating standoff over allowing aid from the United States to enter the country. Some Venezuelans crossed over the border to the Brazilian border city of Pacaraima near Cumarakpe to stock up on supplies shortly before the border was shut, according to Brazilian media. Brazilian authorities are reportedly still moving humanitarian aid to the country's northern border with Venezuela. And on Friday, Brazil's Air Force sent a plane with food and medicine to Boa Vista in the northern state of Roraima. These will end up in Pacaraima, according to the Associated Press. Maduro said he was also considering shuttering the border with neighboring Colombia. The opposition has vowed to move aid from the U.S. and other nations over the border from Colombia on Saturday. So it sounds like things are getting, once again, pretty heated over there in Venezuela, where essentially you've got these two political sides that are playing against one another, and it's all politics. But unfortunately, all of this involves people's lives. We're talking about politicians who are making plays, political gamesmanship or whatever, over food stocks, right? Like food supplies to get into the hands of hungry people. I mean, if it weren't the case that people in Venezuela are hungry, then why all the show over let's get aid into the country? Why the numbers being reported from Venezuela of the average person losing like 12 pounds or 15 pounds in a year's time?
Ian, of course, it's fabricated by the U.S. government, so it's not real, and they want to keep out the enemy, the spy that's infiltrating their system, their government.
Wait, who's the spy?
Well, the aid trucks, of course.
Oh, you're saying that Venezuela's current government is worried about the aid trucks being U.S. Affiliated spies.
Right.
Gotcha. That's an interesting theory. It's just why you wouldn't want to allow people to bring food into your country.
Because then it's giving into that line of argument that there are hungry people in Venezuela.
Right. I see what you're saying. So they have to pretend like everything's fine here. We don't need your aid, is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, if that were true, of course, and it could. I mean,
who knows?
Let's assume it is. Let's just assume it is. You probably don't want your enemy who's trying to depose you coming into the country with aid trucks. I mean, it's just going to be saying, yeah, you're right, my country has failed, or I have failed.
The toll-free number here, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. So again, this weekend, Juan Guaido and the opposition talking about coming in from Colombia over the border with the aid trucks. So Maduro talking about closing the border with Colombia. And of course, the reality is closing the border doesn't just keep aid from getting in. It also keeps Venezuelans from getting out. There's more on the way here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. What is the situation with the supermarkets there? We can look into that coming up as well on Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything you want.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.Global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.Global. Drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.Global. That's AnyPay.Global. There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited here if you want to join us, talk about Venezuela, or whatever it is that's on your mind. You can bring up anything you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
855-450-3733. Look, if you're an individual who rejects the initiation of force, like we do, or you agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle, I should say, and you agree to abide by the non-aggression principle, then you qualify to use liberty.menu. It's a business directory for liberty-minded folks, libertarians, voluntarists, liberty-loving anarchists. It also includes categories for digital content creators. So you don't just have to be, have a physical business or something like that. Or maybe an events coordinator. You want to put your event on liberty.menu to get some extra promotion. You can do that. Liberty.menu. You can use code FTL and get a special badge because it's free to use the site. So we can't give you a discount. It's free. Go ahead and put up there whatever it is that you want other liberty-minded folks to know about. Maybe you'll get some new business out of it. Liberty.menu as we continue here. Going to your calls and thoughts. We can talk more about Venezuela. What's the real story? Now there's two counterpoised sides here that are saying, well, on one hand, there's no food. You can't get food. You got to wait in lines for hours at a time just to get some table scraps. And then the other side now saying with a report on RT, what are you talking about? There's plenty of food here. Look at this grocery store that we're in. All these products are on the shelves. Everything's fine. So we can talk about that and the shots apparently fired at the border of Brazil by Venezuelan troops against an indigenous group because the indigenous group has turned against the government status quo there. Let's go, though, to the phones first. We got Dave in New Hampshire on Free Talk Live. Hello, Dave.
Yes, back to something we can do something about. The New Hampshire Civil Liberties Union is back in action.
Oh, yeah. Well, they never stopped being in action, Dave. I mean, they're always out there doing something in the State House. But go ahead.
Maybe I should say they're back in the news. Maybe they're always in the news, too. But in any case, there's this ongoing scandal in New Hampshire over a thing called the Lori List. Have you talked about this much?
No, it's some kind of cop thing, right?
Right. So it's a list of bad cops, basically, or a list of incidents. Over 200 names are on this list, and the government has been trying to keep it secret. Attorney General Gordon, the Republican activist who became Attorney General somehow, is basically now trying to keep people from being able to see this list of bad guys.
That's unfortunate.
So the New Hampshire Civil Liberties Union, or the ACLU of New Hampshire, whatever you want to call it, has filed a suit, and that's going to be heard in court in Nashua on the 25th, I think.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. Those guys do a lot of good work. The ACLU in New Hampshire, I support them on a yearly basis every year in the last 6 or so years. I've gone to their awards dinner where they hand out the Bill of Rights awards, which is a pretty cool event. And they do really mostly pro-liberty stuff. There's a few issues that they're not right about, but for the most part, they're spot on. They're dead on the immigration issues, civil liberties, from freedom of speech, especially in a lot of cases, taking on activist cases and representing them pro bono in court. I was represented by the ACLU of Massachusetts the time I was arrested in the town hall in Palmer, Massachusetts, for recording video, and they won that case. And I got a $5,000 settlement out of that case. So the ACLU is pretty great.
Sometimes the wish is father to the thought, but I get this feeling, as I watch them, that they're more libertarian than the other ACLUs around the country, because I don't remember liking the ACLUs very much anywhere else that I've ever lived. But I like the one in New Hampshire.
Yeah, if you go into the State House and you happen into one of the, because at the State House in New Hampshire, those that don't know, every single bill gets a hearing. Every one of them. They get a public hearing. You can go and testify. Chris, you and I, we've been doing all the time. These. The ACLU will frequently have people all over the State House. They've got at least 2 or 3 different folks that are regularly there testifying in favor of freedom on a whole lot of legislation, and it's very rare that I will ever hear the ACLU's official testifiers say things I disagree with. I mean, it's just they're spot on. I would say, I think Darrell W. Perry made this comparison before, and I think he's right about it, that the ACLU is probably as much for freedom as the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is, and they kind of both come down on slightly different issues. But
I think part of the reason has to do with strategy. It's a very strategic organization that is got a very clear mission, and they stick to that mission.
They do.
They don't deviate at all.
They're mostly leftists. I mean, I'll be clear. Like if you go to their dinner and you get to meet people, it's mostly people on the left that support the ACLU in New Hampshire. But you're right, Dave Ridley. When you watch and listen to what they say on the issues and the positions they take, the cases that they take on, I would say 9 times out of 10, maybe even 95 times out of 100, they are doing the right thing.
That's been my experience.
I feel like it's even been higher in the past, to be honest.
Maybe so.
I think it's kind of gone downhill a little bit in the last couple of years, maybe, but
it's really only the ACLU nationally that's gone, even more to the left since.
I think that's a fair
Trump,
statement.
Since Trump, and to their credit, you can't blame an organization. I mean, I wouldn't do it, right? But you can't blame an organization for pandering because it has more than tripled their membership numbers and dramatically increased the amount of money they're getting.
That is kind of a problem, but I think it's in some sense I think that can create a problem for an organization when they pander to a crowd that is not actually for the things that the same things that they're for. And I think that's kind of where the ACLU has gone, because I don't necessarily know that they've done most of what they've done. I think they would have done either way. Before now, it's just there wasn't as much pandering going on.
Well, they're happy, man. They got a lot of money coming in now because of Trump. As soon as Trump, basically the membership numbers shot up by multiples of what they were previously. So that's more money.
It's true. It can also be a dangerous thing, though, too, because the organization is strategic, and they've also had the opposite type of thing happen with some of the cases that they took up. I don't know exactly when, but certain cases with the Nazis and the KKK.
Well, there was some talk about them backing off of defending racists. That was one of the changes.
I think that's a mistake because it undermines
I agree with
the
you.
strategic. The point is strategy, right? You need to protect even those. You don't need to protect the people who are in the majority. You need to protect the people who are in the minority.
And the old ACLU would have said that. And so you're right. There has been a difference in the sort of the rhetoric coming out of the national ACLU. I have not heard it. I have not heard any kind of noteworthy change with the New Hampshire one. Dave, any other thoughts you want to share? Go ahead.
Nothing to add. Hey,
thanks, man. That's Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com. Appreciate hearing from you here tonight. The toll-free number, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE. Peter's in Washington State. Peter, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. Actually, I'm in Washington, D.C.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. But what I wanted to talk about is political correctness.
All right, stand by. Here's what I want you to do. Stand by. We're going to bring you back here in just a moment. Make sure you have a chance to actually get your thoughts out. Our toll-free number, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE. It's that easy to get on the air here on Free Talk Live. National talk show, but yet almost no one calls. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. It's Ian and Chris here in the studio. We got more on what's going on in Venezuela. Not that we can do anything about it, as Ridley suggested, but it's still instructive, and it's something that people really ought to pay attention to. The failure of socialism. More coming up.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free here and take control of the airwaves. Bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. I got to use AnyPay when I was down in Mexico.
Really?
At Acapulco or Anarchapulco. It was actually at the event. There was a restaurant called Verde Vegan that... They don't exist in the hotel normally, but they were setting up. They set up for Anarchapulco, and I'm not a vegan or anything like that, but I'm willing to try new things. And actually, turned out their burritos were really actually pretty good. They tasted like a burrito. They were actually pretty good. They had smoothies and stuff like that. But they actually had AnyPay operational, accepting multiple different cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Dash, and it was super easy to pay, as it always is with AnyPay. Except they're putting in the Mexican peso. So when they're typing in a price, they're not typing it in dollars, they're typing it in pesos and collecting that equivalent amount of cryptocurrency from their customers. Because AnyPay is an international product. It does not have to just be used in the United States. They've got, I don't know how many dozens of different world currencies that you can set your AnyPay. If you're the merchant, right, you want to accept cryptocurrency, you decide what the local currency is. So if you're in Venezuela, use the bolivar. If you are in Mexico, use the peso. So there's a bunch of different choices. So no matter where you are in the world, AnyPay will probably work for you to accept cryptocurrency at the point of sale. And of course, I used AnyPay today as well while I was at the Thirsty Owl having some lunch today. So again, it's so easy to pay with cryptocurrency. If you're not doing this system, you're missing out. And it's free for merchants to sign up with. And the sign up is just create a username and password. There's no approval. There's no bureaucrat sitting there poring over paperwork. No one demands your identification. Nothing. It's just username, password, put your crypto wallet addresses in, load the app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency at your point of sale. Anypay.global. And yes, they are now teamed up with egifter.com. So if you want to buy gift cards with Dash, you can do that through thanks to AnyPay over at egifter.com. So that's another cool way to spend some of the crypto that you might have earned. Some people, what do I do with this crypto? Well, now you can buy gift cards with it at egifter.com with Dash through AnyPay. We go to back to Peter in Washington. Peter, go ahead with your thoughts tonight.
Sure. I just wanted to talk about basically political correctness or cultural Marxism, whatever you want to call it, in universities.
Sure.
I got an email today from my school's president, and it had to do with claims about racism, discrimination, white supremacy. And sure, I can sympathize, the discipline action in regards to racism. But once you hear someone say white supremacy or discrimination, then that really just makes me question the motive. And essentially what happened at my university
Which university, do you mind saying?
Yeah, it's called the Catholic University of America. And
okay.
It's a Catholic school in Washington, D.C.
Gotcha.
And so essentially what happened was someone during, I guess, Martin Luther King weekend drew a Nazi symbol on a flyer or a poster or something like that. And supposedly that that means that there's a white supremacy crisis going around in my school. And I took the luxury of replying to my president. I'm not sure if she's going to read my email, because who am I? But I took the time to kind of educate her on why discrimination should be okay. And I gave her an example of, hey, the fact that I got up from my bed this morning and went to my classes today means that I discriminated against my bed in favor of my class. And I gave her also an example in the market, and it's pretty basic stuff. So if you have like a pizza shop owner who's a racist, he's a bigot, he doesn't want to serve blacks, but the guy down the block who's not a bigot and not a racist, he's open to anyone because he's in the business to make money. Well, he's going to put that guy who's racist out of business.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You're cutting down, if you are discriminating against somebody because of their color of their skin, where they were born, their gender, their sexual preference, or whatever, the more discriminatory you are in business, the fewer potential customers you have. You're just literally cutting out your potential customer base by saying, I don't want you to come through my doors. Now, you're right. You ought to be free to make that choice. And in fact, I want to know. I want to know who the racist business owners are. I don't want them to hide it. I want them to be out on Front Street with a sign right on the front door, saying who is and who isn't allowed, because I want to be able to discriminate against that business. I think you're right on here, Peter.
Sure, and just if I can add just one more thing,
sure.
In regards to Nazism, a lot of people think that the Nazis were white supremacists, and for the most part, that could be accurate. They did blame a lot of the failures that they had on the Jews, but in reality, it was the economic calculation problem that von Mises talks about when he talks about socialism, and people don't, for some reason, they don't recall that the Nazis were actually a socialist party. I mean, that's something that the Nationalist Socialist Party in Germany.
Right, that's what Nazi stands for is National Socialist.
Exactly. And And so I actually, I took the time to kind of educate my president on why that Nazi symbol shouldn't really be, it shouldn't cause any issues. And
yeah, I mean, to act like, before you go on, where was the symbol placed?
I think it's like right in front of a picture of Martin Luther King.
So, so was it like on a wall or something like that? Like where?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was graffiti. So somebody did commit the act of defacing a surface at the school. It wasn't like some sort of thing that was chalk or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
And the thing, yeah.
Well, so what I want to say about that is that these people in the administration are definitely blowing this way out of proportion. This is probably just some drunk college student, because that's how they are. Drunk college student on a dare or just wanted to do something stupid as teenage, young males are wont to do, who just made a Nazi symbol or a swastika or whatever it was. Probably that person may not even be an actual Nazi. It may just be a jerk. It may just be some punk-ass kid. And one instance like this is not a crisis.
It may not even be that. It may just be people fed up with all of the nonsense from the left.
So they're swinging the pendulum all the way back to the other direction?
Yeah.
Could be. But look, either way, it's not a crisis. Yeah. One offensive symbol is not something that anybody should freak out about. It doesn't need to be on the front page of the school newspaper, because by giving it all that attention, you are essentially acknowledging this person and saying you are important. You, this anonymous Nazi, whoever it was that made this spray painting, you are so important. The president is going to write a letter about you. You are so important that we're going to make a big deal out of this, a big stink. We're going to have, re-education camps. We're going to have all kinds of, mandatory seminars or whatever else they're going to do. So go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, and again, like, this is all kind of ironic to me because, I've tried to start a Young Americans for Liberty organization in my school. Mm-hmm. Just, try to promote Austrian economics and non-interventionism, all that good stuff that we have in our philosophy. But I always get negated by SGA or the admins because for some reason I'm promoting white supremacy. And just because I'm yeah, exactly. Just because I'm pro-state rights, they think I'm I'm some type of Calhounist, some type of racist.
Hold on. So if you want to start a club, see, I never went to anything more than community college, and I'm glad for it. But if you want to start a club on a campus, isn't that like inherently your right as long as you can find like a sponsor or something? How can they tell you no?
It should be. Yeah. Well, I did find a sponsor, a rare conservative professor, but I have to get the okay from SGA because they control the funding, which is ironic because I pay a lot of money to go to that school.
Yeah.
Yet they tell me I can't run a simple club.
That sounds to me like what I would do if I were you is, I don't know if FIRE does this kind of stuff. I know they handle free speech issues on college campuses.
It's a private university though, isn't it?
I bet you they take state money. I mean, yeah, it's private, but do you think they take state-funded scholarships? I bet you they do.
Yeah.
Peter, let us know how this goes, man. I appreciate hearing from you. Either way, reach out to FIRE and see where they would direct you to. We're coming up here. It's Free Talk Live. Thanks for the call.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
rules.
#1 international best-selling author Matthew David Hurtado's pain was simple. Lyme disease bankrupted him in 2009, watching bankers take everything from his family after building a 7-figure business from his couch. God called him to ministry to teach prosperity based on pain he could not tolerate in others' lives. IRS, creditors, car loans, debt. It's the Babylonian system, and you have to escape it before it's too late. Haven't you ever wanted to wake up from this nightmare? Matthew David's free quick study guide shows you what to do today to build lasting wealth in any economy. His discovery he made? It's all consciousness. Get Matthew's 7-figure quick study guide for clarity, certainty, and a proven strategy to build wealth once and for all. Visit escaperightnow.com. Do it now. It's free. escaperightnow.com for a prosperous future ahead with peace of mind. escaperightnow.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Stouffer's, helping bring your family together with wholesome dinner options, even on the busiest of nights. Find dinner table ideas to bring your family together at letsfixdinner.com. To get kids involved in dinnertime conversation, ask specific questions, not broad ones. Instead of what happened today at school, try what was the best thing that happened today. The more specific you are, the more they'll have to say. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Gotcha.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial right on in here toll free. Bring up anything you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. If you want to sound like you're sitting in the studio with us, join the Discord server. I mean, sometimes I'm tempted to go Discord only just because it sounds so good. And I would love to have my whole show sound as good as those Discord calls. But then I always worry, like, well, if we go Discord only, then we'll probably miss out on some good calls.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still not ready to do that. Maybe we should do like a Discord day. Maybe we should pick like one day a week or something like that. One of the weekdays when we hardly ever get calls anyway, and just go Discord only. But for now, you can still call in toll-free as well. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Discord servers, discord.lrn.fm. Super easy to get in there. I agree. There's a little more setup involved, right? Like you've got to... got alcohol spraying all over the studio here. Anyway, we're not drinking on the air. It's my roommate. Not that it's illegal. You can drink on the air if you want to do that. It just doesn't make for good radio.
Unless you're an advertiser.
It doesn't make for good radio in the long run. So there's a little bit more, you got to jump through a few more hoops, right? Like you got to download the app, Discord app. You got to get that. And there's one for, just like your regular computer, and then there's one for your phone. And then you got to create an account if you don't have one. So, there's a few minutes involved in the initial setup. But once you create the account, then you just go in your web browser to discord.lrn.fm. That'll pop you right into our server. And from that point on, all you have to do to call the show is just open Discord and join the call-in line room. That's it. 2 steps. Boop, boop. And then we join you in the call-in line room, and then you're on the air with us. And it sounds like you're sitting here in the studio. So try it out when you get a chance over at discord.lrn.fm. And all the times we're not on the air, you can also just use it to chat with other listeners of Free Talk Live. They're there 24 hours a day in a lot of cases, so check that out. So, any other comments? Because, you kind of were listening to our last caller, Chris, who was calling. He went to a college that was apparently a private Catholic school. There was apparently a Nazi symbol, a swastika or something like that was spray painted somewhere in the school, and the president sends out an email about it. They're making a big deal about this thing. And look, I'm not pro-Nazi. I am anti-racist. That's like the one thing that we don't welcome on our Discord server, by the way. If you're a racist on the Discord server, you will be put into the toxic user zone immediately. But, you went to college. Does this ring a bell for you? Did stuff like this happen when you were in college?
There was certainly stuff that I wasn't too... I can only really remember, one protest at the university. And I would have to say, I think it was in relation to something of this nature. Mm-hmm. But I also have to say there was a lot of things I didn't like that the university was doing. So... Yeah, and it was a state university. So yeah, I think a state university is going to have more restrictions on it than a private university. I don't know though with certainty. People say and they phrase it as, private schools getting federal money or state money, and I don't entirely know. While that might be true, I think the way it may actually work is that the money is earmarked for the student, and therefore it's not the school who is receiving it directly. Therefore, they may not have those strings attached unless they take money directly.
Yeah, I think they take the money directly because they're not going to give the student money. Right? Like, you don't want to give somebody $7,000 or whatever a semester costs these days. $10,000. They're going to go and spend that on alcohol.
If it's a state school, for sure, you're going to end up in a situation where the state school is obviously going to have to comply. But a private university, I'm not 100% sure on that one. I don't know.
There's no way they're going to cut a check to the individual receiving whatever state funding for the schools. So that's not going to happen. It's not even fiscally responsible. Right. I understand states aren't fiscally responsible, but that's insane.
Let's back up a moment. My company has taken money from the federal government on a number of occasions.
You sell parts for computers computers.
Right. And there's certain parts you just can only get from us.
Yeah.
It isn't the case that every single time we sell to the government that we have to sign a contract that says all this fine print that says, we can't, we have to have equal employment and all this other stuff.
Sometimes they're just buying stuff from you.
Sometimes they're just buying some from us. If we put in a bid for a contract,
then
that's when all those terms come in.
Right.
So it may be something similar with these private institutions. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be a question for somebody that is an administrator at one of these institutions. Yeah. They would probably know the answer to that question. If you want to join us here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. But to respond to a Nazi symbol or any offensive symbol that is, put somewhere, to respond to it in any way besides this is graffiti. Okay, shouldn't matter what the graffiti is. It's graffiti. It's a crime. You've defaced somebody's property, and that's not okay. No matter whatever it is that has been put there, to give it more power than it has. It's just somebody scrawling something drunkenly on the side of a building to act like it's anything more, that there's some sort of crypto Nazis in the school that are, secretly planning to do Nazi things. It's just ridiculous. This is just the way college boys are likely to behave, because it's the way they behaved when they were in high school. They're still basically in high school. They always said about college that it's high school with cigarettes. It's kind of what it was, at least the college I went to. That's what they referred to it as, high school with cigarettes, because that was the only thing that changed. Because now you could smoke.
Yeah, I remember. I remember I wouldn't say this for the university I went to, but I did a few I did take a few courses at the local community college, and it was the second high school is how they or the continuation of high school is how it was phrased.
Same thing. I don't.
It was kind of a joke, but
I've never been to a college as far as as a student besides community college. So I mean, I can't say from personal experience, but having been around enough of these college students, I mean, we live in a college town, you and I.
Yeah,
it's Keene, New Hampshire. That's where we live. There's a relatively small it's not even a university. I guess it's college. It's just a state college.
I think there's a difference between the kids who go to the 4-year schools and the kids who go to the 2-year schools. It's not to say there's not some overlap, obviously.
What's the difference? Are they brattier at the 4-year schools? Because
it's I don't know. I don't even feel like it's so much that. It seems to be. It doesn't. I'm not saying that one is necessarily. I don't know if
I think they're going to act out more. I think college students at a 4-year college are going to act out more, and here's why.
Yeah,
because they're leaving their parents' home in a lot of cases, right, for the very first time. So they've been, many of them, in very restrictive environments. They've been told what they can and can't do. Now, all of a sudden, they go from that restrictive environment to a less restrictive environment where now they're living on their own. Now they've got a roommate that's their own age. They may have some college person who's in charge of the whole dorm, but they're not watching everything that they do. So they have way more freedom. They can buy the food that they want to buy. They can kind of go out and party as often as they want to go out and party. They can do things. They're not, in many of them, especially if they're getting a scholarship or if their parents are paying their way, they don't have to work. So they don't have any responsibilities tying them down. So they can basically just F around and have no responsibility whatsoever. Whereas a college student or a community college student, you don't get to live on campus. There are no community colleges I've ever heard of that have on-campus housing. That just doesn't exist. So these people are either still living with their parents or they've moved into their own place, which means they're paying their own bills, which means they probably are working, so they're probably more likely to be more responsible and more mature.
So what I saw, what came off, this was my impression, having gone to or attended at both 2 and 4-year schools, but I mostly attended 4-year schools, mind you. But for most of my education, I only took a handful of classes at community college, and most of that was during high school. But anyway, what I saw was more along the lines of the kids who really weren't. There was I don't want to say they were. This was the case across the board, but I think there was a disproportionate number of students going to the 2-year school who were not. They were not, they were not in a position, I guess.
What kind of position?
Academically. Not everybody. There's also a percentage that were, elderly people taking classes, things of that nature too.
I don't understand what you're saying though. A position academically? What does that mean?
They did not have the same standards, I guess. Or expectations, maybe, that I saw more of in the 4-year school. And it's not to say that there weren't kids who were very similar in their behaviors going to the 4-year school, but a lot of those kids ended up dropping out. So
like the bratty ones, the irresponsible ones drop out?
No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about kids maybe irresponsible in that they didn't go to classes, things of that nature.
That tends to be what happens if you are irresponsible and you party all night. You're probably going to miss a bunch of classes and end up failing grades and things like that.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, it seemed like the majority who continued on, were more prepared for college than the kids in the 2 years.
Maybe it was the people you ran with, too.
It could be.
There's more coming up here in moments. 855-450,
very,
free
very
like
likely.
freedom. I don't imagine you joined the partiers. More coming up.
No, I did.
You did. Full head of hair from years past. Introducing Reveal from GCNlife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNlife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNlife.com or 844 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, February 22nd, 2019. Gold opened Friday at $1,326. Silver opened at $15.87. And Bitcoin was trading around $3,942. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Manage Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a federal magistrate on Friday ordered the government to disclose to him and to plaintiffs' attorneys a list of private organizations that receive access to the government's list of known or suspected terrorists. The Associated Press reports that Judge John Anderson issued the ruling at the conclusion of a hearing in U.S. District Court in Alexandria, which he angrily questioned government lawyers about their failure to previously disclose that hundreds of private entities, like universities and hospitals, receive access to the list. The government admitted earlier this month in a court filing that private groups like universities and hospitals receive access to the list, after denying in previous court hearings and depositions that they do. A government lawyer said the oversight was a mistake and there was no intention to deceive. The Council on American Islamic Relations is challenging the watch list's constitutionality. It says innocent Muslims are placed on the list by mistake and suffer numerous consequences as a result. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, February 22nd, 2019. Your news now continues. As the world increasingly turns toward automation, science fiction is fast becoming a reality as automated solutions spring up both on the battlefield and in civilian life. Activist Post reports that in the southwestern Indian state of Kerala, a new type of police officer has been sworn in. It's a robot cop going by the name KP Bot. The KP Bot has already attained the rank of sub-inspector, and according to India Today, already knows how to practice a perfect salute. The KP Bot is part of a push to integrate robots into the police force, which was announced last year by the state police chief at the Cocoon Cyber Conference, according to India Today. However, the KP Bot isn't quite ready to man a black and white or engage in beat cop activities. The female-featured robot will be restricted to the traditionally gendered occupational role of receptionist. U.S. government-sponsored student loan debt has become an escalating problem for the finances of many American households. Activist Post reports that the latest household debt report from the New York branch of the Federal Reserve indicates that Americans collectively owed $1.46 trillion in student loans at the end of 2018. That's more than any other category of non-housing related debt. Worse, the percentage of student loan debt that's in serious delinquency, where no debt payments have been made for at least 90 days or longer, has remained stuck within a range between 10.7% and 11.8% of the total borrowed since 2012. That's the highest of all forms of household debt. Since most of the money was borrowed from the U.S. government, the inability of American households to repay student loans represents a drain on the U.S. government's finances, where seriously delinquent student loans drive up the nation's budget deficits. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has stated that the burden of student loan debt hurts American households and will hurt the nation's economy. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is found online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
After excitedly posting an image of a Lamborghini Rebenton to his Facebook account earlier this afternoon, 38-year-old little boy Nick Weber talked to Onion reporters about his passion for fast cars.
When I saw that car, I was like, whoa, it was so cool. I had to show it to all my friends. I like red cars the best, but only ones that are really, really fast. I can't wait to get one when I'm older. I'm going to get the fastest car in the whole world.
The Weber also frequently posts about his other interests, which include motorcycles, fighter jets, and Marvel superhero Iron Man. The nearly 40-year-old small child confirmed that sports cars are his favorite, and the picture of the bright yellow Lamborghini has already garnered 15 likes and 9 comments from other enthused middle-aged children who are friends with Weber on the social networking site.
My best friend Bradley, he sent me a picture of a blue convertible that's so awesome. It has these big wheels and even has a racing stripe on it.
After watching several online videos of fast cars and eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch, the home-owning little tyke went to his room to take a nap.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in here. The toll-free number if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Coming up, violent video games and aggressive teenage behaviors. Is there a tie? Chris, you've got the story on the way. We're going to get into it, but first we got more on Venezuela. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. It's Ian and Chris in the studio here tonight. Our number is 855-450-FREE. If you want to join us, that's 855-450-3733 as we continue. Let's go to the phones, to the fun. We'll start out with Sarah in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, I just wanted to ask you, how come you're so much in favor of, let's say, an uncle that has a background check? I mean, he can own and buy guns, and then he hands it out to his nephews. Mm-hmm. One breaks into a house, the other one deals drugs, and the other one steals cars. And they all have his guns.
So 3 nephews. Let's call them Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Okay, go ahead.
But this is what the New Mexico culture, and that's why we have the gun control law. You just can't, just because you're a cousin or you're a nephew or somebody's an uncle, just because your family has guns, your dad has guns, all of the sons get guns without a proper criminal check.
Okay, so what you're saying is you want to have restrictions on family members' ability to just simply give a gun to their loved ones.
Right, and they say, well, he sold it to me for $50. But I mean, that's improper. The new law is that if you're going to purchase a gun, you have to pass a stricter law instead of just your family members just selling it to you. And then the thing is, that's what's going on here in New Mexico.
Do you think that, Sarah, that having more gun control laws will stop psychos from getting guns?
Well, of course. I believe in it. Of course. It's the harder to get, the harder that they're going to use it.
Okay, hold on. Now, you live in a welfare house, right?
Well, I mean, Section 8. It's called Section 8 subsidized.
Yeah. Same thing. So now, do you ever see anybody around the welfare community doing drugs?
Well, I mean, I hear about it.
You've heard about
I never seen them.
You never
do
seen it?
I hear about
You ever
it.
seen any like heroin needles in the streets or anything like that?
Well, yeah, I've seen them laying around all over the place.
Yeah, now wait a minute. Now that's illegal.
Highly illegal.
It's illegal to acquire heroin. It's illegal to shoot up heroin. So can you see that the fact that those things are illegal hasn't stopped it from happening?
Right.
Okay, so therefore, if the government cannot stop people from buying and using drugs, despite spending billions of dollars and countless hours of hours cracking down on these activities, that there's still people out there shooting up heroin right now as we speak. Can you understand that the same thing can apply to guns, where no matter how many rules and restrictions you put on these guns, that a psycho nut job who wants to go shoot somebody up, shoot up an office or something like that, is going to get the guns that they want?
Well, I do think that the harder it is, the better, the stricter it is, the less crime they're going to commit with those guns. And
really? Have you heard about Chicago?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Chicago has one of the highest rates of murder and violent crime in the United States. Am I right about that?
I suppose. I hear so.
Yeah. Do you understand that guns are basically prohibited in Chicago? You essentially cannot legally buy a gun unless you're like a Brinks truck, security professional and you've got all the right paperwork in order.
Right.
Okay. So how is it that a city where it's very difficult, like super ultra difficult to buy a gun,
legally at least,
how is it that that same city has a dramatically high violent crime rate? People are getting shot to death in Chicago.
They probably do the same thing that they do here. Just somebody with a good record could buy their own gun.
No, it's not like that. It's not like New Mexico where there's even some semblance of freedom about purchasing a gun in Chicago. Some of these big cities like New York City and Chicago, some of the most restrictive places as far as buying a gun is concerned. But yet you still have gang members shooting each other. That doesn't make sense, does it, Sarah?
Illegal guns. But you know something? Look,
it's illegal. Oh, so they've got illegal guns. So what you've just
admitted that you didn't solve your problem.
Right. What you've just admitted, Sarah, is that by creating all these rules and restrictions, you are driving the purchase and possession of guns into the black market, making them illegal guns, meaning that the person who wants to buy that gun, for whatever reason, has to be willing to commit a crime to do so, which to their mind is fine because they're going to use the gun in a crime anyway. Right? So if your goal is to get a gun to commit murder or to rob a store or whatever.
The legal guns are not interesting to people who with criminal intent in the first place
right.
because they're tracked.
Exactly.
Right? So really what you want is I forget what they call them exactly, but they're
you don't want a serial number. You don't want to trace a record.
There's a certain name for that type of weapon.
We got Matt Roach in the studio here.
It's a burner.
A burner, yeah. Like a burner phone, but a burner gun.
So you want a burner gun. I think there's still a ghost gun, I think is also another name for it too.
That's the thing where you can like basically 3D print your own gun, essentially. Kinda.
No, I don't. I think there's something similar in name as what you're talking about for 3D printing, but the ghost gun is a term that's used to describe a gun that doesn't have a serial number. Yeah.
Okay, could be.
So anyway, it can't be traced. Anyway, so the point that I'm trying to make is that there is a market for these ghost guns, okay, that are not tracked by the criminals.
I'd pay more for it. Wouldn't you?
Right. The guns that have a serial number you don't pay as much for them. So the idea
But Illinois, Chicago, they have to try something else. But why are you?
What are they going to try?
Wait.
What are they going to try? What else could they possibly do?
Well, I have no idea. But you know what? I'm talking about New Mexico and our law. And
She's talking about New Mexico where they haven't tried everything they've already tried in Chicago, so they need to try the things they've already tried in Chicago and haven't worked.
Right. What she's proposing is to try the things that don't work in Chicago.
Right.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Isn't New Mexico one of the most heavily armed states in the country?
New Mexico?
Per capita?
Really?
Yeah. And they also have one of the lowest violent crime rates, just like New Hampshire, and we're also one of the most heavily armed states in the country.
Well, the thing is, our voters have voted all the legislatures that are for gun control. So you know what? If all the voters that wanted freedom of gun ownership, they should have come out and voted against them. So why are they crying and complaining about it now?
You're persecuting a minority group here. When the majority doesn't. When the majority they're not part of that gun ownership club. They don't understand guns to begin with. So you're basically you've got a small group of people who are influencing a larger group of people who don't know anything about guns, and it seems reasonable because they don't know anything about guns. That's how you end up with these types of situations.
And they apparently don't know anything about prohibition either.
Right. And somebody has an interest in banning these guns, right? It's in many cases it's police departments and it's busybodies, and it's what do we have? I want to say police industrial complex, not the police industrial complex.
There is such a thing. I mean, I'm not sure
prison industrial complex.
Okay.
Sorry.
Basically the same thing.
Right. They need more people coming into their private prisons because they're making money off of it. So it's in their interests to promote this kind of stuff. It's not being promoted because they want to save lives, because it's not going to save lives. It might put more people in prison, but those people get released, and you still have the same problem.
Sarah, thank you for the call tonight, and we got big news for our listeners in Albuquerque starting on Monday. I don't want to spoil the big news, but it's going to be, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're in Albuquerque and listening to us on KABQ AM there, you may have to tune in at a different time, and it's going to be a good move for Free Talk Live starting Monday. That's all I'll say right now. But we'll let you know once that happens. Thank you, Sarah, for the call tonight. Your efforts are pointless because no matter what restrictions you put on things people want, there are always those who are willing to flout the law. They're willing to just do whatever it is that they need to do to acquire the guns that they want to acquire because they want to commit a crime with them. And they're willing to pay more to do it, and they're willing to jump through the extra hoops because they don't want it to be traced. There's more coming up here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dinovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it,
and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dinovite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic
and Cindy Lukasevic,
inviting you and your pets to Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash also features smart rewards, a price stabilization mechanism, and a way to encourage long-term holding. Long-term holders are key to the project's success. You can earn smart rewards on any address for which you hold the private keys, which holds at least 1,000 smart for 1 month and does not make any outgoing transactions during that time. Smart rewards are distributed every 47,500 blocks to all eligible addresses. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agrishosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agris Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agrishosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agrishosting.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here. The number is 855-450-FREE. Whether it's gun control or Venezuela or coming up violent video games, we got to get to that story. On the way here tonight, it's Ian
and Chris.
And our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Bitcoin.com, your premier source for everything Bitcoin related. And there is a lot to see over at Bitcoin.com. But if you're brand new to Bitcoin, if you're brand new to cryptocurrency, you really ought to go to Bitcoin.com. Get started there. They've got the Bitcoin Academy, the Bitcoin.com Academy. You can just, 10 minutes maybe 15. It's been a while since I've gone through it, but pretty easy to understand concepts once they're laid out in the right way. And they do a good job of it over at Bitcoin.com. Plus, they can help you choose a Bitcoin wallet, buy Bitcoin, and show you where you can spend your Bitcoin. You can also get the latest news headlines or engage with the community on their Bitcoin forum. Go to Bitcoin.com and do that. Do a lot of stuff all over there. A lot of it's free. We go to Matthew. He's in Louisiana, listening online via the TuneIn app. Go ahead, Matthew.
Yeah, I don't know if Auntie Sarah realizes how when you pass these gun control bills, it doesn't always go the way you think it's going to go.
No.
Like in Washington State, a bunch of sheriffs are like, no, we're not going to enforce this.
Oh, yeah, she was mad about that the last time she called in.
Right, and then in Connecticut, all the people who were supposed to register their scary black rifles, well, no, they didn't. It was like about 15% compliance, which was high.
Yeah.
In New Jersey, it's still about like 1% compliance with the magazine ban.
So what you're pointing out here is even though these are laws that the government has put into place in these states, that even the people are just ignoring them.
The law-abiding, generally
purportedly law-abiding
for the most part, or at least the people who are not committing violent acts.
Right, the people who consider themselves law-abiding have decided, well, there are some laws that they won't abide by, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think it makes people very suspicious as to why the government wants, to reduce their abilities to be armed. Now, this is a different topic about corporate censorship, sort of. I don't know. I don't know how to describe this, but apparently there are some people who post their little girls or little boys swimming or doing other, gymnastics or other such activities where they're lightly dressed. And there are some kind of creepy dudes who like to watch these things, and they've gotten into this habit of time stamping the, shall we say, the exciting parts. So other creepy guys could go directly to the exciting parts and watch the exciting parts, which I don't know how you do that with YouTube because it's such a pain in the ass to move that little slider around at all. But
okay.
And some crusader noticed that these supposedly creepy dudes were doing this.
You mean the crusader who happened to be doing the same thing the creepy dudes are doing, right? And then he was like all outraged over it.
Might have been. I mean, I have seen such things down here. We had this guy named Grant Storm who was crusading against gays and pedophiles, and he was found one day, shall we say, growing the hairy palm at Lafayette Park out here in Metairie. So the police were like, all right, we're going to send you to jail, and then after you get out of jail, go away.
Wow. Yeah, not a surprise. So I did see this this story. I think somebody put it in our Discord chat, actually, on the news and show prep there in Discord. And as I understand it, YouTube has lost some revenue out of this. There's some companies who are acting offended.
Some companies had threatened to pull ads, including Peloton, which I would be grateful for. Their ad is so damn annoying. But
who?
Peloton. They sell an exercise bike, and they insist on screaming at you while they're selling it to you.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, my interpretation of this was something like the left was like going off on it, and so the advertisers reacted, and thus YouTube reacted, and therefore, like, all comments are now banned or something.
Great. Take them off. Take the comments off of YouTube. I think that would be wonderful.
Yeah, it's because it's basically if somebody posts a comment that is, you know, I guess sexual in nature or it's something that's not acceptable to YouTube standards, they will now like remove the advertising from the videos, even though it's not at all sexual, the video or whatever.
I think what they did was anything that has girl or little in the search bar, now all the comments are now disabled on those links.
Okay, got it.
So if you go to little girls in swimsuits, you go to the comment section, disabled. But they should have just simply disabled timestamping on the comment section. I mean, really.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, the timestamps can be useful, like if you are in a video, or there's some video that is actually.
It seems stupid to me to disable
90-minute-long videos on global warming, and there's one key point you want to get to.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like way the heck in the middle of a thing. You know?
They're useful.
Just because certain people do bad things with a tool or a technology doesn't mean we should ban it. I think this is just ridiculous. It's overreacting.
Absolutely. It is.
I mean, these were not videos, from what I understand. I mean, again, I didn't watch any of them, obviously, but
yeah. Although I can understand, like, you wouldn't want, like, if you had a kid, and you and I don't, but if you had a kid and you had their, you know, gymnastics or their
hold on. The parent I think the original video that set this off, the parent actually was against removing the advertising and all of this, and it wasn't a sexual video. It was just somebody like posting a comment that was sexual.
Right, that's what he's
like
saying.
A 5-year-old or something.
That's what he's saying. He's saying that the videos aren't intended to be sexual. They're like the parents taking videos of their They're like the parents taking
videos. They're not all
sexual.
sexual.
That's what I'm saying. They're like the parents taking videos of their kids at like the gymnastics or you know the pool or something like that. But then some perverts getting in there with comments and typing in nasty stuff. That's the parents' responsibility to look. You're going to put your video out for the public to see. There's going to be some mean and or nasty stuff that gets posted there if it gets seen by people. So turn off the comments. You, as the video poster on YouTube, have the ability to disable comments. You can do that.
Right. We have to remember, it's the internet, right?
Yes.
Like, I mean, there's people who get off on looking at people's feet. I mean,
sure.
You know, I mean, give me a break. You know, does that mean we shouldn't have any videos that have like people's feet in them?
Well, no, but what it does mean is that parents.
Absolutely not. We cannot have any videos that might cause an erection of any kind except for the purpose of procreation, but only upon consent of the king.
Here's the problem, though. The pervert is going to be turned on by a lot of things that the average person won't even think of, right? Like, you know, are you going to ban the Sears catalog too? You know? Hey, thanks for the call, Matthew. I appreciate hearing from you, man. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. So the responsibility is with the parent. Number one, here's an idea. If you don't want creepy, mean, nasty people lurking in your YouTube channel, don't post videos of your kids there. You know, if you want to send a video to grandma, send the video directly to grandma. You don't need to post it online for everybody to see. If you do post it online for everybody to see, you probably ought to disable the comments. You might think to yourself, oh, the only people who will find it are going to be my family because they're the only ones I'm going to tell about it. You can always do the unlisted style video, I suppose. That's one way to do it. But if people start finding it, it's inevitable that somebody's going to post something awkward or uncomfortable or sick or anger-inducing on the comments section. That's just the nature of comments on the internet. It's people hiding behind their computers and saying whatever they want.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens. We support the amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Jeunesse products are designed by leading doctors in their field with natural ingredients and even stem cell technology. These products help your body perform and look better. Shop Jeunesse at gcnlife.com or call 1-844-443-6637. GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637.
Many people believe they don't control their own destiny. Let them continue just getting by while you make the choice to do something about your future. Imagine working from home, earning the income you deserve. Just visit startlivingyoung.com and click on the Be Your Own Boss tab. Discover Jeunesse, a state-of-the-art global health company with over $1 billion a year in sales. They'll provide all the tools you need to succeed. Visit startlivingyoung.com today and click on the Be Your Own Boss tab. Your destiny awaits at startlivingyoung.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial in. The toll-free number here is 855 450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Ian
and Chris.
We are talking about, well, whatever's on your mind. We actually had a good amount of participation here tonight. We can get back into Venezuela and get into violent video games, which we haven't even started talking about yet here. But we ended up getting sidetracked by this conversation just a moment ago. Caller called in about the YouTube comments, offensive YouTube comments. Now, whether they be written by perverts or Nazis or just overall a-holes hanging out behind their computer screen, it's kind of like the history of the internet comment to be mostly bad, mostly undesirable, mostly
people trolling.
Yeah, detestable, trolling. Just people at their worst in these comments zones. And there was an interesting article that I was reading today that, again, I don't know where I saw this one. It might have just been on the Drudge Report. But it's about a reporter, a young lady, 12 years old, who stood up to a cop.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
In Arizona. And, I don't know if we're going to get a chance to play the audio, but she stood up for herself against an armed man who was who lied to her and told her that she could get in trouble, that it was illegal to put his face on the internet. That's false.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had arrested her for something, but I wouldn't at the same time,
She did have video though.
Yeah, she didn't do anything illegal.
Yeah, and she had a camera. So I mean, if he knew that if he'd arrested her, he'd look even worse. So he just figured he'd try to intimidate her.
Yeah.
But she made an interesting statement in a different article from brightlightmag.com about being on the internet. She's being interviewed by Brightlight about being a very young reporter. Like, she's the youngest reporter in the American Society for Reporters.
She started at 9 years old.
Yeah. 8 years old.
8 in that story? Oh, wow. These other stories said 9.
So this is her in December. So she's now 12. She says, one of the questions here, if you could go back in time and give your 8-year-old self some advice, what would it be? She says, 8-year-old me probably wouldn't listen, but I would tell that girl to never read the comments. People can be cowards online and say terrible things they would never say to your face. But 8-year-old me wouldn't listen, so I'll save my breath. Really, just smart stuff.
That's very true.
And so true. Just comments. I think it was Vice, actually, that shut off their entire commenting system at one point recently, like within the last year or so.
I think there's been a number of newspapers who've shut off commenting.
I think you're right
shut
about
off
that.
Commenting on certain articles.
Yep.
Which is actually kind of disturbing at the same time, because it kind of gives it kind of shuts down speech or communication. Or
it's not their job. Their job isn't to facilitate
I don't think they should
two-way communication.
I don't think they facilitates. Well, I don't necessarily think it's their job to facilitate two-way communication, but I certainly don't think that they should be, if they're going to have comments, right? I don't think that they should be, moderate, or I don't think they should be moderating the comments, I guess. I'm not sure if I should say that. That's the problem
with comments, is if there's no moderation, then people will post things that are not welcome, like, put things that are illegal or something on your comments.
I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing.
Well, tell that to the the cops that are arresting you.
Look, no. Okay, so, but I don't think the cops should be arresting people.
Well, obviously.
So it's I think having an open conversation is a good thing. Like, I don't
totally
want to ban the people that I disagree with.
I'm with you, man. I have not closed comments on freekeen.com, for instance. That's where there's a bunch of
trolls.
Some
trolls, yeah, definitely.
On freekeen.com. But there's also counter trolls, and
that's true.
I let the trolls just have their fun in the comments. It's really pointless to me. I don't spend a whole lot of time reading comments. I'll read the ones on Freekeen usually, just because there's usually good back and forth between the trolls there. But on YouTube, I don't spend time reading comments on YouTube. They're just all garbage as far as I'm concerned. But I think most people ignore the comments, so I think whether they're there or not is really pretty much immaterial. As far as the user's experience, your typical user going to watch a video or the typical user going to read a news article, I can't imagine many of them actually read the comments. It must be a very small portion.
I suspect it's a larger percentage than you think, but at the same time, I suspect that most people don't read the comments on most videos, but they do on some.
Yeah, whether it's comments or whether it's videos or whether it's articles, comments generally are pretty toxic, I would say, overall. And so I can understand why somebody would want to turn them off entirely from their site. I don't blame somebody for that at all. If the point of your website is to simply get your ideas out, then
there's still some good reasons actually to leave commenting on, because it increases, especially from like a financial perspective, because by leaving the comments on, it increases the amount of time people spend on your site, which increases where they stand in like Google search and things like that.
Yep, that's true.
So there's actually some side benefits to and advertisers pay more for it. So
right.
It's
even though you're seeing the same people over and over again, right? Like if it's the same two trolls fighting each other, loading the page, 2,000 times.
That's an ad. It's money in your pocket.
They're hits, but do people really care about hits as much as they care about individual visitors?
I don't know exactly what they're basing the statistics on. Like the details
if I'm buying
of
an ad, I want to know the visitors. I don't care about the hits.
Yeah, I mean you're going to pay more if you're talking about the visitors versus the hits, but yeah, I mean it's. If you're talking about depending on the price points and things of that nature, I don't really know the details of how things are being sold these days, but
so it's interesting though, right? Because like the web has gone through these different phases. Remember, there was Web 1.0, then there was Web 2.0. I don't know if they're on 3 yet, but I don't know who decides these things. But Web 2.0, the big difference was, now listeners or viewers or whatever can talk back. Now there's comments. That was the idea, was that Web 1.0 was we tell you, we the producers, we the webmaster, tell you what's important.
Didn't Web 1.0 have guest books still, or was that just considered Web 2.0?
Guest books. I would say guest books were the beginning.
Still interactions, even in the earlier versions, but I don't know.
Sure, there were forums way back in Web 1.0.
Yeah.
But the idea, I think, was that the guest book kind of was the early version of comments, and then you started to see those things in more places, right? So the guest book was just sort of like, sign our guest book. Now, or at least then, Web 2.0 came about, and it was like every article, every page, there's comments, right? There's more opportunities for people to interact with the other viewers on the site. So it became more of a thing. You had the things like Reddit or Dig. These social media started to come into play. Instantaneous commenting instead of having to reload pages.
I wonder if it's more about who was doing it or the masses doing it, because I feel like even in the mid 90s, like maybe 96 or even earlier than that, there was platforms like Slashdot. I mean, those were technical platforms, but they had a system.
Yeah, I think you're right.
To do commenting.
It has to do with popularity. So it has to do with the widespread.
I think it was maybe more like when news sites maybe started adding comment sections and things like that, more so than just.
And YouTube, right? I mean, they had comments, but YouTube didn't exist before 2006.
Yeah, YouTube is a fairly recent thing, I think, as far as at least taking off.
Yeah, it came out in the mid-aughts, and it didn't take too long for it to take off. So anyway, if you want to comment here on the air, Talk Radio's been doing it for 30 years. You can call in toll-free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And one thing you can say for sure about calling Talk Radio, despite the fact that almost no one does, is you're going to get heard by a lot more people.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can go ahead and comment on some YouTube channel.
Especially this show. I mean, 200 stations?
Almost. 194 stations. Now, to be fair, not every station is airing every hour of the show.
That's true.
If you call in, you're not going to be on all 194. But Sarah probably is, because she calls every damn night. So she's close to it. There's some stations that only take our third hour, and she usually doesn't call in the third hour, so they're missing Sarah. But Sarah's probably on more stations.
She's probably hit every station.
Sarah's on more stations than you are.
Yes.
Right? Because you're only on one night a week.
I'm on one day a week. Yep. Just one day.
So anyway, you can comment here, and our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And you're going to hit way more ears than if you leave a comment on any blog or on any Facebook post or even on our forums or in our chat rooms. More people will hear your ideas if you can get on the phones with us. Now, of course, a lot of millennials, they don't even want to talk on the phone these days, right? So maybe
I don't even know if they know how.
Yeah, maybe Talk Radio is going to die because of that. We're coming up. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Detoxify, lose weight, and restore balance to your body by simply drinking tea. Surprised? Dr. Miller's Holy Tea can help you feel better and even lose weight, because Holy Tea is a unique herbal tea blend of all natural ingredients specially formulated by Dr. Bill Miller. Call this number, 888-660-7039, or click drmillersclinic.com. Take the first step toward better health. Drink tea from Dr. Miller's Clinic.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Everyone in a bustling Chinese parade is attempting to elude pursuers. Newly discovered cave paintings suggest early man was battling a lot of inner demons, and a xylophonist is shredding it. This Tuesday, FBI officials disclosed details of a disturbing al-Qaeda plot to just kick back, relax, and savor the inevitable collapse of the United States. Intelligence agencies confirmed the massive coordinated plan involves terrorist cells across the globe, training specifically to take a load off and unwind as America's political infighting, class divides, moral indolence, and environmental self-destruction gradually tear the nation apart.
Our righteous warriors will devote our time to relaxing and really soaking in the infidels' self-destruction. America's cities will be reduced to ruins. The economy will come to a standstill. And we, the blessed of Islam, will kick back, put our feet up, and enjoy the show. It's going to be great.
This is the Onion News Network.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in 1 application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us on the radio here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And thanks to Joe Shull. He's a Free Talk Live amplifier, meaning that he gives monthly to the Free Talk Live amp program. In fact, he's been around so long, he's still got the old original amp class, which was a $3 a month amp. Because that's what we started at. We started at $3 a month, and we decided we were going to get rid of the $3 tier and go up to $5 as the minimum, just because, you know, these guys take these PayPals and Visas and MasterCards, take a chunk for their fee. And so we wanted the chunk to be a smaller percentage of the amount that people were donating, and we didn't think $5 was too much to ask. So he's actually still locked in at the old $3 level because he's been around for that long. So thank you, Joe, for your continued support here on Free Talk Live. You can go to the AMP program and join up just like Joe did. You can use PayPal, you can use credit card, you can use Bitcoin, BTC. Your choice. You get some cool perks for doing so, and you can help us get this show on more stations. So your comments can be heard by more people. Go to amp.freetalklive.com, ampamp.freetalklive.com. All right, so we were talking about Venezuela earlier here tonight, and there was just a few more things I think worth saying about it. Shots have been fired on the Venezuelan-Brazilian border. Venezuelan troops firing, National Guardsmen apparently, firing on indigenous people because the indigenous people are upset. They don't want to see this Nicolas Maduro continue. They're taking the side of the opposition, and the indigenous group got in the way, basically, when the National Guard and Army were moving tanks to the border. So they opened fire against them. And according to the Independent over at independent.co.uk, they're closing the Brazilian border. They're also now talking about closing the Colombian border, where the opposition is vowing to move aid packages from the United States and other nations over the Colombian border as of tomorrow. Earlier today, an opposition lawmaker traveling across Venezuela in an attempt to collect the humanitarian aid at the Colombian border said someone threw 2 large rocks at a bus in her caravan. Mariela Magallanes of the opposition-controlled National Assembly said the pre-dawn incident was a direct attack that left a backup driver injured. Ms. Magallanes said the rocks went through the windshield on the passenger side and that the driver was being treated for injuries. Dueling concerts near the border between Venezuela and Colombia are set to take place today. Richard Branson, you know, that guy from Virgin, super rich dude.
Yeah.
Rocket space guy.
I took one of his planes here.
Did you really?
Yeah, to Europe just a couple weeks ago.
Well, he is sponsoring a Live Aid-style concert featuring dozens of musicians, including rock star Juanes in Colombia, while Mr. Maduro's socialist government is promising a 3-day festival dubbed Hands Off Venezuela on the other. So it sounds like Branson is siding with the opposition. He's siding with Juan Guaido in this conflict. Opposition politician David Smolansky said, quote, "The eyes of the world will be on Venezuela," unquote. 600 tons of aid, largely donated by the U.S., has been sitting for 2 weeks in a storage facility at the Tienditas International Bridge, close to where Branson's concert will be held. Maduro, of course, denies any crisis exists, insisting the aid is a ploy by the Trump administration to overthrow his government. By what? Feeding people?
I mean, sure, maybe, but it's like you are becoming a dictator, if I'm not mistaken, because
basically,
rejected the elections, or you've manipulated. I think it was manipulated the elections, and then
correct
Congress disapproved them or something.
He formed his own Congress last year, or
right?
Late maybe 2017. They formed their own Maduro-controlled Congress and basically are trying to ignore the National Assembly. And the National Assembly is the one that's controlled by the opposition.
Okay.
And the National Assembly is not recognizing the new elections that Maduro is saying, I'm the new president. Well, the National Assembly is saying, no, you're not. This other guy is, Juan Guaido. And the Supreme Court, which is on the side of Maduro, is saying, no, Maduro is the president. And then you got all these other countries, the government, saying, no, Guaido's the president. But then Russia and Iran and I think Cuba are saying, no, Maduro's the president. So it's become this flashpoint for international conflict. And hopefully it won't result in invasions, because we do not want to see war break out in a place that's already, devastated economically. Because if it's bad now in Venezuela, having a war going on there is going to be way worse.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with the war, I think, is more not so much that people die, but that there's not going to be anything accomplished. No. I don't think anyway. I think it's
best case you put another socialist in.
Right. It's in certain places there might be some advantages to going to war in the end if things work out well. But
when has that happened?
Until that, well. Yes, I mean until it actually works out well, obviously it's not good. So you definitely, I definitely think it's advisable to avoid war if at all possible.
So finally, the military of Venezuela has now placed a large tanker and 2 containers in the middle of the bridge at Tienditas to block supplies from getting across. So they're literally physically moving tanks to the Brazilian border. They're blocking off the bridge on the Colombian border because they don't want people to get food. Now, on the other hand, their claiming is everything's fine here. There's food on the shelves. Story over at RT. They've got video of a dude shopping at a grocery store allegedly in Venezuela. And headline here, where are the empty shelves? Max Blumenthal tours Caracas supermarket. Corporate media grieve for the barren shelves and empty bellies in Venezuela, but are the alleged food shortages real? After touring a supermarket in Caracas, Max Blumenthal found plenty to buy, even craft beers. Quote, grocery shelves lie empty as food becomes increasingly scarce, says a headline at the UK Independent. The country's shops remain open but are, quote, sparsely stocked, The Guardian laments. Even basic commodities such as toothbrushes aren't available for purchase, bemoans CNN. Quote, hungry, unquote, Venezuelans must choose between, quote, torture or starvation, according to Bloomberg's grim conclusion. Mainstream media coverage of Venezuela gives the impression that President Nicolas Maduro is slowly starving his own people, a narrative which, as journalist Max Blumenthal found after surveying a massive supermarket in Caracas, is wildly deceptive. The store offered a wide selection of meat, produce, and dairy, although no low-fat Greek yogurt, an indignity which is likely the result of Maduro's tyrannical ways, Blumenthal jokingly hypothesizes. Most importantly, craft beer, a hallmark of heroic consumerism, could be found in the supermarket's alcohol aisle. Blumenthal also marveled at the store's huge variety of scented toilet paper, shampoo, and toiletries, the basic commodities which, according to CNN, are nowhere to be found in Venezuela. According to Blumenthal, quote, there isn't an issue here with food distribution or food scarcity. The issue is the buying power of Venezuelans has been completely destroyed because their currency has been so badly weakened by hyperinflation, speculation, and the flood of dollars that the government can't control here, as well as hoarding by private capitalist elements that support the opposition. Now, that's a conspiracy theory if I've ever heard one. The idea that evil capitalists, who, by the way, are usually accused of wanting to make money, now the evil capitalists are, forget about making money. We want to hoard supplies to make the current government look bad so we can overthrow them and take control of the country. Usually, if you're a capitalist, and I'm not necessarily in favor of capitalism. I'm just in favor of freedom. You know, whatever it is that works. If you want to have your commune, go ahead. Have a commune as long as it's voluntary. If you want to be a capitalist, go ahead. Be a capitalist. You know, whatever. But normally if you're a capitalist, you want to be a capitalist so you can make money. So you can put your capital to work so you can make a profit.
I mean, isn't that the underlying...
That's the whole idea.
Yeah, idea.
So why would a capitalist want to hold their inventory off the market for political reasons? It just flies in the face.
Doesn't make sense unless there's some capitalist reason to do it, like depleting, reducing supply to increase prices. But they're not allowed to increase prices, so I'm not really sure.
But they're not. The allegation here is they're just hoarding. They're not even increasing prices. They're just holding on to everything. Further, the claim here is that I agree with one thing Blumenthal says is that the hyperinflation. The hyperinflation is definitely a huge problem in Venezuela. I mean, that is government policy. They're the ones who are deciding to inflate their currency at insane levels. It has nothing to do with a flood of dollars. He says the flood of dollars the government can't control.
Wouldn't that be a good thing?
Right.
I mean, look at
money
North
coming
Korea.
in.
I mean, they're looking for dollars. Right. That's usually not a bad thing.
Right. Except in Venezuela, you're not allowed to have dollars.
Which is kind of insane because
it's so insane.
You need dollars in order to purchase goods from overseas usually.
Right. Because they don't want the bolivar.
Right.
That's for sure. There's more coming up here in moments. You can share your thoughts. So what's the real story? The Russian media here is saying, there's plenty of food on the shelves in these grocery stores. There's more coming up here. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Pain in my neck, back, and shoulders has really gotten worse.
Relief for body pain is here with Sunny Bay heating pads.
Well, the last thing I want is to take another pill, so what's so good about Sunny Bay heating pads?
Sunny Bay heating pads, made by Biomed DB Design right here in the USA, come in all sizes. Our extra large microwavable heating pad for back pain is designed to be large enough to cover your entire back. It's also perfect to wrap around your legs, knees, or shoulder and neck.
But I need to know they're good quality.
Of course, Sunny Bay heating pads and pillows are often an Amazon choice, and it's easy and most affordable when you purchase your Sunny Bay heating pads right from our website, sunshinepillows.com, or call us 253-678-1361.
Hey, a Sunny Bay heating pad
would make a great gift, right?
Yes, and they start at just $19.99 and free shipping is available. So call 253-678-1361 or shop for your Sunny Bay heating pad at sunshinepillows.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your weekend edition of the Liberty Beat. For the week ending Friday, February 22nd, 2019. Gold opened Friday at $1,326. Silver opened at $15.87. And Bitcoin was trading around $3,942. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a federal magistrate on Friday ordered the government to disclose to him and to plaintiffs' attorneys a list of private organizations that receive access to the government's list of known or suspected terrorists. The Associated Press reports that Judge John Anderson issued the ruling at the conclusion of a hearing in U.S. District Court in Alexandria, which he angrily questioned government lawyers about their failure to previously disclose that hundreds of private entities, like universities and hospitals, receive access to the list. The government admitted earlier this month in a court filing that private groups like universities and hospitals receive access to the list, after denying in previous court hearings and depositions that they do. A government lawyer said the oversight was a mistake and there was no intention to deceive. The Council on American Islamic Relations is challenging the watch list's constitutionality. It says innocent Muslims are placed on the list by mistake and suffer numerous consequences as a result. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybraybotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, February 22nd, 2019. Your news now continues. As the world increasingly turns toward automation, science fiction is fast becoming a reality as automated solutions spring up both on the battlefield and in civilian life. Activist Post reports that in the southwestern Indian state of Kerala, a new type of police officer has been sworn in. It's a robot cop going by the name KP Bot. The KP bot has already attained the rank of sub-inspector, and according to India Today, already knows how to practice a perfect salute. The KP bot is part of a push to integrate robots into the police force, which was announced last year by the state police chief at the Cocoon Cyber Conference, according to India Today. However, the KP bot isn't quite ready to man a black and white or engage in beat cop activities. The female-featured robot will be restricted to the traditionally gendered occupational role of receptionist. U.S. government-sponsored student loan debt has become an escalating problem for the finances of many American households. Activist Post reports that the latest household debt report from the New York branch of the Federal Reserve indicates that Americans collectively owed $1.46 trillion in student loans at the end of 2018. That's more than any other category of non-housing related debt. Worse, the percentage of student loan debt that's in serious delinquency, where no debt payments have been made for at least 90 days or longer, has remained stuck within a range between 10.7% and 11.8% of the total borrowed since 2012. That's the highest of all forms of household debt. Since most of the money was borrowed from the U.S. government, the inability of American households to repay student loans represents a drain on the U.S. government's finances, where seriously delinquent student loans drive up the nation's budget deficits. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has stated that the burden of student loan debt hurts American households and will hurt the nation's economy. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is found online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This week, badly shaken researchers reported observing an osprey stalking, killing, and devouring an adult male lion in what is being called a massive food chain shakeup. Confirmation of the 3-pound marine bird consuming the 400-pound feline has biologists scrambling to determine the new predator-prey connections between the planet's billions of organisms.
We seem to be experiencing some sort of cross-species dietary free-for-all.
Scientists say that the killing of the healthy, full-grown lion by a typical osprey specimen has lent credibility to recent reports of a deer seen grazing on a nest of squirrels in Wisconsin, as well as a claim made by a group of Japanese fishermen who say they witnessed 300 million krill devouring a 40-ton humpback whale. In other news, NASA acquires the moon for an upcoming Kennedy Space Center exhibit. A radio DJ invites the whole town to some bullshit, and assuming the many universes theory of quantum mechanics is accurate, the review you've just seen will remain relevant in another reality for all eternity. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
Free Talk Live.
Does this have chamomile and aloe vera? Oh, it has chamomile. This is chamomile. Chamomile. Manzanilla. Thank you, Maduro. Okay, well, now we're in the pharmaceutical section.
Toothpaste, toothbrushes, toothbrushes.
This is the video from RT.
Just basic commodities that aren't available or readily available to Venezuelans right now because of the regime that they're currently living under.
Oh, aloe vera. That'll match with my toilet
with a
paper.
guy who is just sarcastically walking through a grocery store.
Took me like a while to do that because there are so many varieties. Damn you, Maduro!
I mean,
we're now in the pharmacy.
So there's a lot of footage here from this this grocery store. Lots of meats. Everything seems to be well stocked, and there are customers in this store.
No es un mercado socialista con donde hay todos.
He says, "Is this a socialist market, or where is the socialist market where everything is free?" Is it a lie that everything is socialism in Venezuela? And the man behind the counter says yes. So Venezuela is a socialist country. There's no doubt about it. Both of the opposition party and the current so-called president are socialists. Like, they'll tell you they're socialists. That doesn't mean that they are completely without commerce. Now, it's interesting, though, seeing this store. It makes me wonder, is this like a showpiece store? You know how North Korea has these sort of showroom stores where only the tourists are allowed to go. Only the people who are being shown the ideal North Korea are allowed in these stores. They're not for the average North Korean. They're for show. They're for display.
They've got like painted apples and things like that.
I don't know. No, I don't think that's true. I mean, you can actually buy things from these stores, and there's video of people going into the stores. Now, you're not allowed to record video generally in these stores, but in North Korea at least. In this case, this guy's obviously recording video. There's no problem with it, and I don't know. I'm not going to say I support Maduro just because there's a grocery store with some food in it. I mean, there are stories coming out of Venezuela about trucks with food being waylaid by criminal gangs who they don't want to hurt the driver. They just want to rob the truck. They're just hungry people who see an opportunity to get some food in their bellies, and they're committing a violent act in order to do that. But they don't want to kill the driver. They don't want to like beat up the driver. They just want the driver to not fight back. They want the driver to just simply, pull over. They've got spike strips or whatever. They run cars off the road, motorcycle gangs, whatever they can do to get their hands on some food. So, this makes me wonder, if you are in Venezuela and you can speak to this, because we did have a guy call in a couple weeks ago who Mark had met at the Bitcoin conference in Miami, who currently is living in the United States but is from Venezuela, so presumably has friends that are still in Venezuela. And, he says that you can still go to a bar and you can buy alcohol. So, I mean, obviously there's still some business being done over there. But you've also got these studies being done on the people of Venezuela saying the average Venezuelan is losing significant weight. Like, I think the last numbers we saw were like 17 pounds in a 1-year time frame. So is it all just fake? Is all that information false? Have we been, sold a bill of goods that is not true?
I can say one thing with some certainty, and that is I know somebody who actually did visit Venezuela within the last 5 years, and they got robbed, actually.
Really?
Yeah. So
where were they?
They were speaking at a university. I don't recall exactly where they were, what city or anything even. But they got robbed. They had a laptop stolen from them.
Well, now, was it like gunpoint, knife point robbery, or somebody grabbed a bag and ran?
I don't really recall.
Because that's a robbery, right? When you are threatened.
I'm not entirely sure, unfortunately.
Because otherwise it's just a theft.
It was within the last 5 years, and I don't know if it was like somebody ran and stole his bag, but I know his laptop got stolen.
Yeah.
And afterward, my partner actually had to reload another device to replace that one when he came back to the United States. So, yeah, I mean, there's certainly crime in Venezuela. It doesn't really prove one way or another, how bad the circumstances are, but certainly
it does.
It seems like from a non-scientific perspective that it's not the safest place to be.
Wherever people are desperate, crime will increase.
Right.
Wherever people are hungry, crime will increase. And, even the people who would normally never consider doing things like that will be, in some cases, feel like they have to in a desperate situation. If it's about feeding their kids or starving, they're going to do what they have to do. And I'm not saying it's okay. It's not okay to use violence against your neighbors in any circumstance, whether you be Nicolas Maduro or whether you be a thug on the street. It's all violence, and it's not okay. But I still want to know, what's the truth about these Venezuelan grocery stores? Is this store that this guy's in? And they mentioned the name of the store at the very beginning of this of the segment here. It's a 6-minute segment. I'm not going to play the whole thing. But is this like one of those showcase stores where it's only for the rich and the wealthy or whatever? Is this guy part of the Maduro propaganda? I mean, he's certainly paid by RT. This is an RT produced video here, I believe. Let's go on here a little more.
Because I have dollars, and the dictatorship of the dollar controls the world. Okay, so I had a pretty normal experience at the supermarket. I was able to get pretty much everything that I usually get back home in the States, including like this bag of craft beer, until my credit card didn't work and I had to pay in cash. I paid in dollars, And that really shows what the problem is here, that I had to pay in dollars.
I didn't know you could do that. I thought that you could not pay with dollars.
It's
legally in Venezuela.
Isn't it something like it's not legally allowed, but it's the kind of thing where they do it anyway?
Well, yeah, in the black market you can pay with dollars. I knew that.
Yeah, but the black market's kind of the open market in Venezuela. It's unless you can enforce, like you have a police officer at like every grocery store.
Register.
I mean, you probably.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
but you would think a mega corporation this is a big store, right? Like he's in a full-on superstore.
Look, even during Soviet times, like there's a lot of corruption in these socialist countries. So it's
that's interesting.
It's probably like even if there is a police officer there, it's like the grocery store is going to pay off the police officer.
Right, he's going to get $1.
Right, exactly.
He's going to be happy when he goes home. He got $1.
I mean, these guys are the police and the military are supposed to be like starving too, right? So
purportedly
not having been paid in months, and et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean,
let me go on here with his wrap up.
There isn't an issue here with food distribution or food scarcity. The issue is the buying power of Venezuelans has been completely destroyed because their currency has been so badly weakened.
Which is all about the government. I mean, that doesn't happen from the outside, which is what Maduro wants you to believe. His statements have always been like, this is an attack by the U.S. government. They're the ones ruining our economy. No. The U.S. government doesn't set your monetary policy, dude. That's all something that you did.
By hyperinflation, speculation, and the flood of dollars that the government...
Well, speculation is a private investment, right? Like when you speculate on a thing, if you bet that, for instance, the price of dollars are going to go up or down, or the price of oranges are going to go up and down, if you're speculating and you're buying stocks and you're buying these different monetary... I'm not an investor, right? Like, obviously, I don't sound like one. But you're speculating. You're taking your own money and you're speculating on things, which means that if you lose, you're just losing your own money. That doesn't affect the buying power of the money that you're using. That's just your own personal decision. And it might be a good one, and it might be a bad one. So it's the hyperinflation that's really the problem here, not to mention the government takeovers of various different industries. And I'm going to have to go back and see what the name of this store is, and maybe we can look it up online and find out, is this one of the grocery stores being run by the government? Because they have nationalized a lot of the industries there.
Yeah, they supposedly they take it over. I wonder how much of that the takeovers are like, oh, we're gonna take it over until we run out of food, and then it's just kind of gets abandoned, and then maybe they come back. Maybe the grocery stores come back or something.
I don't know.
They get taken over by the people who are maybe originally owned them, and they start selling groceries again. I don't know.
It's a good question. This definitely is there's a big question mark that this video puts on the situation down there in Venezuela, because all the reporting until this one has always been about barren shelves, long lines outside the stores. So what's the story? What's the real story in Venezuela? The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. How do you get the truth if you're not actually there? Is it even possible?
I don't know.
855-450-FREE, like freedom. This is Free Talk Live. Coming up, violent video games.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll free. Bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have the Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm. So head on over there and interact with other Free Talk Live listeners. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
So whether you want to talk about Venezuela and what is the truth about grocery stores in Venezuela. The store that the guy at RT was shopping at is called Gamma. And look at a quick look up here. Excelsior Gamma appears to be the name of the company. I have not yet been able to determine who owns them. I don't know if it's the government or not. I'm guessing it's not, but I don't know.
Now I'm kind of wanting to know, can you place an order online?
Well... this translation isn't doing a particularly good job because there's images here, so I can't read the text particularly well. And anyway, we'll see if we can learn more about that. But if you have an opinion about the situation down there, you're welcome to weigh in. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Let's go to the phones. To the fun. Then coming up, we're going to get into this violent video games. People have been saying for a long time that violent video games encourage young people to be more violent, teenage boys specifically, to be more violent. And you've got a relatively new study, Chris, that addresses that question.
Yes.
So we're going to get into that. And, of course, you're welcome to join us here and bring up whatever it is that's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Plus, again, the Discord server is there, and you can call via the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. There's 4 of them. Just join any one of those 4 rooms. As soon as we notice you in there, We are going to hop in, and then you will be on the air with us, and you can talk about anything. It doesn't have to be about Venezuela or violent video games or anything like that. Again, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedoms. We continue. Oh, and one other thing. I do need to mention Fork Fest. It's coming up 4 months. Are you going?
Yeah.
You're going. All right, you went last year.
Of course,
Yep.
yes.
And last year...
I wouldn't miss it.
Yep. It's a decentralized libertarian camping festival in New Hampshire. And the location's beautiful. It's Rogers Campground. Beautiful white mountains, incredible view. Great people. The people that are going to be around are going to be liberty-minded folks, libertarians, voluntarists, liberty-loving anarchists, however they describe themselves. It's still a small event. You know, I wouldn't expect more than a couple hundred people to show up. And last year we had more than I think we had more than 150 to 200 because of Jay Noon's wedding.
Yeah.
So we're not going to have Jay Noon's wedding this time around. So I don't know.
No.
Maybe attendance will go down. Maybe it'll go up. I don't know what to expect.
Depends on whether or not you counted those people in the first place.
I counted them because you can't really know for sure. 'Cause some of them did stay the night. Many of them actually stayed the night.
Yeah, that's true.
But also, there's no organization. There's no board of directors. So there's no ticket sales.
It's a guesstimate. Everybody who's taking it, we're all just taking a guess.
Yeah, we're just eyeballing. Looking around.
Yeah.
Because there's no ticket. Now, what we could do is we could try to get some statistics from the campground and say, well, are the numbers up above where they would have been 3 years ago before this event happened? I mean, maybe you could kind of go at it from that perspective, but basically there's no real way to know. There's no real way to accurately measure besides just looking around and saying, this looks bigger than last year. So come and join us. It's actually the 5 days before the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which is a centrally organized, centrally planned festival that I believe is entering into its 15th year this year. But Fork Fest is the one where there's no one in charge, which means everyone's in charge. So meaning you're in charge of your own experience. Whether you have a good time or bad time, that's up to you. Whether you just hang out with other people at campsites or you put something on for them to do. Maybe a musical event, maybe a poker game, maybe, whatever it is you think would be fun. Whatever it is you think other people would enjoy. You decide. That's up to you. Forkfest.parties, or you can go to learn more. It's June 13th through the 18th. That's this year. In beautiful New Hampshire, Rogers Campground. Forkfest.party, and you can link over to the Forkfest chat room as well as the Forkfest forum there. That's a way for you to get in touch with some of the other attendees and find out what's going on. Let's go to Michael. He's in Aberdeen, Washington, listening to KBKW. Hello, Michael.
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Welcome. Good.
Well, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I heard you mention a little while ago about Venezuela's economy or financial situation that they're in, that the U.S. was not responsible for setting their internal economic policies.
That's right.
And yeah, I agree with that, but I think that you also need to point out that the U.S. is sanctioning them, and they're losing, $30 million a day because of those sanctions.
Yeah, no doubt. The sanctions, I do not support sanctions because sanctions end up hurting the people. I mean, the idea is it's going to punish the government, but it doesn't punish the government. The sanctions aren't taking food out of Maduro's mouth. That's for sure.
No, sanctions are violent against your own people. That just seems really messed up.
Yeah. They're hurting the Venezuelan people.
No, I mean, the sanctions are against the people. We can't do business. You and I can't do business with Venezuela. That's what a sanction is.
That's true.
How do you sanction somebody in another country that isn't under your control?
Yeah, good point. Good point. Michael, more?
Oh, yeah. No, that's about it, man. I'm about to grab some takeout food. So you guys have
What are you getting, man? What kind of food?
I'm getting some Chinese food.
Oh, you can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong with that. Hey, thanks for the call, Michael. I appreciate hearing it from you.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Yes, sir. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. I'm glad he brought that up because that is something that the Venezuelan government can legitimately blame the United States for.
Oh, yeah. Lots of countries can actually.
Well, right, like North Korea, for instance, or Iran.
Cuba.
Cuba. Well, Cuba's things are starting to loosen up. So we're starting to see some changes in Cuba.
I don't think all of the trade restrictions and sanctions have been lifted.
No, they're not all gone. You're right. But they're loosening. Yeah. They're loosening a little bit. You can go visit now, which you couldn't do before. So tourism is a thing you can do now in Cuba.
Is it? Would I be able to go over and do tourism? Because I know a couple of years ago, people like reporters could go over, but you individuals couldn't. So there's plane flights
and
family,
you
but
can.
not random individuals.
As I understand it, you can. I'm not a travel expert, but I remember when these things were happening, when at the very end of the Obama administration, they started to loosen some of the controls on Cuban visitation, and I know Carlos Miller
remember that, but I don't. I was at that time. My understanding was that it was not allowed for the general population still, but if you were a family member of somebody like living in Cuba, or you were a reporter or something of that nature, you could then travel, legally under U.S. law anyway, to Venezuela. Obviously, people even before that were going to Canada and getting flights to Cuba, not necessarily legally within the context of U.S. law, but obviously, once you're left the United States, the U.S. doesn't really have control over it.
So from 2018, April, pretty recent.
Yeah.
Forbes magazine, Alexandra Talty talking about Cuba, and says here when Barack Obama rolled back regulations in 2014, making it legal and easier for Americans to visit the country without a tour group, there was an expectation of the floodgates opening for Yankee visitors. Major airlines worked for years to hammer out contracts, allowing commercial flights, while companies like Airbnb scramble to ramp up Cuban inventory on their websites. And by many counts, tourism is up. 2017, 600,000 American travelers without family ties visited the nation.
Okay, so that's interesting.
So it's
tourism is permitted then.
It's on now. Which is great news.
Yeah.
Because the more we can mix with these people in these other countries, the better off we're all going to be, rather than these artificial barriers being put up by governments. It's Free Talk Live.
We pledge allegiance to one flag, and that flag is the American flag.
Did you know the official national American flag has never been manufactured for retail stores? The one that Americans fought and died for. The one symbol that represents our Constitution. Now you can be a part of this great movement that's never been seen before. Together, we'll recapture America. Call 1-877-383-4777 or visit theofficialflag.com. Theofficialflag.com.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid-rich, full-spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free and join us here. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Violent video games, are they actually causing young people to be more aggressive? Chris has that story, and that's on the way. But we go back to the phones and the funds here. I do want to let you know, though, about clips.freetalklive.com. It's a new thing we've started back up within the last few weeks, and I'm glad they're back. Video clips of the show. Easy to share.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so instead of having to share a whole 2-hour-long episode, if there's like a little part that you like, you can just share the video clip of the part that you liked. And it's Eric Freerock. We brought him out of retirement from copblock.org. He is the one doing the production in the background, and I appreciate the effort. We're actually kind of doing a combo effort where we're helping him promote his channel. So when you go to clips.freetalklive.com, it actually takes you to the Liberty Bitch channel on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, and you'll get in your YouTube inbox, or whatever they're called, the subscriptions, you'll get the latest videos from Free Talk Live. Alternatively, you can also, if you're not on YouTube, you can also follow us on Mastodon, which is the decentralized alternative to Twitter, and it's great. You can follow us there by going to toot.freetalklive.com. You will see the YouTube videos posted there. It's automatic. As soon as they go to YouTube, poof, there they are.
I see them all the time.
Right there on the Mastodon feed, which is sweet, right?
Yeah.
It's nice. It's right there for you. Same thing with Twitter. If you're still on Twitter, you can go to twitter.freetalklive.com. You can follow our Twitter there, and they'll show up there. And then also Telegram. We got a Telegram channel at telegram.freetalklive.com. So any one of those 4 ways, YouTube, Mastodon, Telegram, Twitter, you'll get the clips. And then click on the ones you like, share the ones you like, share them with your friends, your family, on your social media, and that helps us, and it helps communicate the ideas of liberty, maybe get us some new listeners. That'd be nice. So once again, clips.freetalklive.com. Check them out as we go to Kirby in Indiana, watching us on YouTube, as a matter of fact. Go ahead, Kirby.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Hey,
man, as far as Venezuela goes and such and so forth, I was wondering, were you guys familiar with the Major General Smedley Butler?
Yes.
United States. Okay. Then you're familiar with his book, War is a Racket.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that because, I mean, obviously we have to tell our listeners who this guy is in case they don't know, because there's probably a lot of people out there listening who's never heard the name Smedley Butler before. I take it you're familiar with War is a Racket. Do you want to explain what that is?
Well, yeah, certainly. Major General Butler started out fighting, chasing Pancho Villa, fought in all of America's banana wars. And eventually retired and wrote a book called War is a Racket. And essentially what he said was that the United States government and its military are simply leg breakers for organized crime organizations, that America has always been basically a fascist government that is in bed with organized crime figures, which is big business, Exxon, Mobil, Dole Fruit, which is who he fought to prop up in the banana wars. It's you can find his video on YouTube for free. I would suggest everybody watch it.
Now, what's the video? Did somebody take his book and make a video out of it, or I guess it was like a pamphlet, right?
It's like a 15-minute speech he presented in the 30s.
Oh, okay. So it's actually video of him from the 30s? Like,
yes, sir.
Like a movie reel, basically, that's been transferred to video. That's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've never actually read it. We've had many summaries given of it on the air here over the years on Free Talk Live. It's sort of one of those. It's one of those things that you can point people in the military to. It's like, oh, see, this guy, he was a general, and he's telling you war is a racket. He's telling you that he was a hired thug, basically, for these corporations through the military.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen Diaries of an Economic Hitman.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
It's a perfect companion book to it.
Right.
And I don't say that to down America because, honestly, I love my home.
Of course.
But America has yet to grow into its own ideals. And
well,
it's
remember,
going backwards away from them.
It's easy to confuse, and the government wants people to do this. That's why they try purposely to mix terms around so people can be confused. America, people love America, and a lot of them around the world love Americans. They love the tourists that come into their towns. They love the Hollywood movies that Americans make. They love a lot of the products that they buy from America. There's a lot to love about America. Of course, America also includes Mexico and Canada. But there's a lot to love about this place and the freedoms that we do have. On the other hand, the government is not America. The government is a criminal enterprise. And
exactly,
the government is evil. And it's not just the American government. It's all of them. Every single one of them, whether it be Venezuela, Canada, Mexico, all of these governments are doing wrong. They're hurting innocent people within their own country, and many of them, like the United States, hurting innocent, peaceful people outside of their own country's borders. But you never want to confuse the two. The America that we love are the people and the freedoms, not the government, right?
I wish democracy had solved this problem, but it didn't.
No, democracy is part of the problem.
It is, because this is not a democracy. We're supposed to be an association of free and independent states who have their own laws and work together for each other's benefit, but are not so centrally controlled. This is more fascist or communist than it is Republican.
Yeah.
And it's not taught in schools anymore. When I was in high school, my government class consisted of 2 semesters of us playing 1776.
Playing 1776?
Yes. The teacher divided us into southern states, northern states. I'm a black gentleman.
Okay.
57 years old. I was John Rutledge of South Carolina.
I'm not familiar with John Rutledge.
This is how he was a big plantation owner.
I see.
And we had to play our parts true to what they would have wanted and come up with a constitution.
Mm-hmm.
We learned more about government and the intercourse between men and the founding of our country than I could have learned in 8 years in a university.
Sure.
We don't teach children what it is to be free.
No, the government schools will never teach that.
Watching TV.
Right. The government
they think free is.
Yeah, the government schools will never teach that. I mean, it's against the interests of the state to teach children about freedom.
They teach obedience.
Stand up when the flag.
This was a government school, however, but I was being taught by old people who had seen the worst of America and didn't like it and wanted to see it change. Does that make sense?
Sure. And again, it's the government schools that have a message they're promoting, right? The government schools don't want to promote freedom because the government benefits from your ignorance. The government benefits from you believing in them. They want you to be programmed, essentially, and that's what these government schools do, and the private schools to some extent. I mean, they're not that much better, but there's
which is why you see.
Go ahead.
Which is why you see people jumping on the Bernie Sanders bandwagon. Well, a top 1% earner who wants to redistribute my wealth.
Yeah, he's got what? How many houses does the guy have? But I mean, whether they're on Bernie's bandwagon but hold on, whether they're on Bernie's bandwagon or Jeb Bush or Trump or whoever, none of these people are any good. Yeah, they're all bad.
No, They're all POS. I can't say that.
Thank you for that, Kirby. I appreciate the call tonight, man. Thanks for
POS.
sharing your thoughts with us. Definitely appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I think this interview with this 12-year-old reporter that I mentioned earlier tonight has a relevant portion here, since we're talking about education.
Yeah.
Question to her. You've said, quote, I think a lot of adults tell their kids they can do anything, but at the end of the day, they don't actually let them do anything, unquote. Can you elaborate? What are some examples? And she says, it's so true. I was the only 7-year-old I knew who was allowed to bike around town. Can you imagine?
Wow. That's actually pretty impressive in today's age.
Impressive that she was the only one? And that's not impressive
that there was somebody out there that would let their
Right.
7-year-old bike around town by themselves.
She's got a little more to say
that's
about
what she's
it.
saying.
She's got a little more to say. We'll share that
Yeah.
coming back here in a moment on the way kids are being raised these days. It's Free Talk Live.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you could move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep sleep faster and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry MyPillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose.
And here's Mike's best offer ever. MyPillow is now offering 50% off their 4-pack special plus free shipping. Go to mypillow.com or call 800-951-5617 and use promo code FTL. That's 50% off plus free shipping. Don't delay. Order now.
Hello?
Congratulations.
For what?
For losing all that weight. How'd you do it so fast?
ASAP.
ASAP what? What's that mean?
Are you ready to get as skinny as possible, as soon as possible, as simple as possible, and as sexy as possible?
I'm listening.
Then get with the ASAP program. It's real and it works. No smooth talk, no slick advertising, and no exaggerated claims of success.
I've got to know more.
Welcome to ASAP, as slim as possible. Whether you have 10, 20, or 50 pounds to lose, ASAP is your weight loss answer. ASAP targets the abnormal fat reserves and makes them available to be burned as fuel and contains no caffeine or hormones. Order ASAP at wholesale prices or join the team to share the business with others. Go to GCNteam.com or call 855-GCN-MALL. That's 855-426-6255. GCNteam.com or 855-426-6255. Lose weight and look great with ASAP, as slim as possible.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll free to join us here. Bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
So we're going to continue with your calls and thoughts here. And don't forget, you can go to freetalklive.com. And I mentioned the AMP program earlier, but please join the AMP program if you want to help us out. It's $5 a month, and it makes a big difference. Go to amp.freetalklive.com. You'll get some cool perks and get the list of what those are. Learn more at amp.freetalklive.com. So I said I got a little bit more from, and I think her name is Hilda, Hilde. That's pronounced Hilda, right? It's like an old lady's name.
It is.
You don't hear Hilda very
I knew
often.
a Hilda, and she was 97 years old.
Yeah. So anyway, this one's 12, and she's a reporter who stood up against a cop recently. And we didn't play that audio, but just because we haven't had time. It was
good.
We haven't had time. I would like to get to that at some point. It's just not going to be tonight. Anyway, there's an interview with her that has had some relevancy in the discussions we've been having here tonight. And the last caller was just talking about the government schools and how, god-awful they are, and the kids these days and the way they're being raised. And I thought her perspective on this was particularly interesting. What do they say? Out of the mouths of babes or whatever. So the question she was asked, this is an interview. She's being interviewed by brightlightmag.com. And this is kind of like halfway through the interview. Question. You've said, quote, I think a lot of adults tell their kids they can do anything, but at the end of the day, they don't actually let them do anything, unquote. So the reporter asks her, can you elaborate? What are some examples? So Hilda says, it's so true. I was the only 7-year-old I knew who was allowed to bike around town. Now, for us, I mean, those of us here in the studio, and there's 3 of us. There's just one guy who's not talking because he's not technically on the show with us. He didn't want to be. I said he could be, but he didn't want to be. But anyway, we're all in our 30s, right? Early 40s, late 30s. And, I mean, we were all allowed to bike around.
I don't know about at 7 years old, though.
You didn't have a bike at age 7?
I had a bike. I could go as far as my mom could see.
Okay. Well,
I mean, maybe by like 12, I could, go around the neighborhood and maybe even further without, not technically allowed, but,
Maybe. I remember going out in the woods and playing, with my friend alone with no parents around.
Oh,
whatsoever.
No. Yeah. I'm not saying I couldn't do that, but as far as you can go really far on a bike.
Sure.
I mean, it's not that hard to,
She says further here, I have friends who are 11 and they aren't even allowed to walk into town. A lot of parents are such phonies, she says.
And the question is, how big is this town? I mean, are we talking about a town of 20,000 people? Are we talking about a town of 5,000 people? Are we talking about a town of 100,000 people? How big is the town?
Well, it's not. I don't think it's particularly big here. Selinsgrove is where she's from. Population 5,900.
So it's a really tiny town.
Small town.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wouldn't be unreasonable for a 7-year-old in a small town to do,
But she's the only one. She's the only person in that age range. So she says further, a lot of parents are such phonies. They say how they embrace their kids' creativity, but hardly let them cross the street without freaking out. How are kids supposed to do great things in the world if they aren't allowed to live in the world?
I've been arguing this since forever. My entire life I've been arguing this.
She says further, kids are a lot smarter than adults think. I have friends who are way smarter than I am, but because they're stuck inside their house or school all day, no one knows. And she finally says, the best thing about my parents is that they get out of the way.
So true.
I just think that's really brilliant. And it's so sad at the same time.
No, it's unfortunate because the parents can't get out of the way to the degree, at least that I would want to get out of the way.
You mean legally they can't?
Legally, I mean, you can't let a 7-year-old work. Nobody's going to hire them. I mean, you can't let a 7-year-old drive. I mean, maybe they can't really drive anyway because they're not capable.
They can't see over the steering wheel.
Yeah, but the point is that they should be able to if you can get over the humps and so forth and of doing those things. I mean, I certainly think like a 13, 14-year-old should be able to drive.
I mean, whatever, as long as they're able to capable of doing those things. And if you are to allow younger people to mature at the the speed they want to, which is what she's talking about here. She's able to go out there and do the things she wants to do, and she's become a nationally or internationally recognized journalist at age 12. I mean, she started at 8.
Yeah.
And so she at this point has spent, a third of her life doing journalism, which is amazing.
I think it's interesting that it certainly, I don't think anybody's going to argue that every 7-year-old or 8-year-old is going to be able to go out and do this kind of stuff on their own. But there are kids that age who are totally capable and should be able to, and they should not be inhibited because there are 22-year-olds that aren't capable of some of these things, right?
In this article, in this interview, she talks about some of the mistakes that she made when she was a even younger journalist, and how she's grown in the last 4 years of doing journalism as a young person. Not stopping somebody artificially is very important. It allows them to grow at the pace that they're ready to grow, because a lot of young people want to go to work. They want to go out there and create a thing for the marketplace to, whether it'll succeed or not doesn't matter. They should have the freedom to make mistakes at that young age. You don't want somebody to get their first job when they're getting out of college at 23.
That's a really bad idea.
It happens, though. And it happens a lot.
It does happen a lot.
So anyway, I hope we get a chance to play the video, maybe not tonight, but on another night, of her standing up against the police, because it's inspirational. I mean, more people ought to be able to do that stuff. So toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. I just thought that was a really interesting viewpoint from a young person of what it's like. She's sad for her friends. They're stuck in their houses, she says. They're stuck in their schools and in their houses, and that is not a place you can't grow in those environments if you can't get out there and actually do something in the world. Sad stuff, but it's so true today, especially so. And yes, there are government laws that get in the way of parents like letting their kids go to the park by themselves in some states. So there's some risk to the free range parenting.
I'm not even thinking about those laws. Yeah. I'm thinking about less laws that are even not that restrictive, like, just employment. You can't,
right.
I mean,
you can't get a job.
You're not allowed to, I mean, it's not even like you can say you let your kid work, fine, but nobody's going to be able to employ them because they will get in trouble for it.
Right. And nobody wants to employ anybody under the age of 16 anyway, even though you can do 14 and 15 in most places, because the restrictions the government places arbitrarily on them are insane. Mandatory
it gets
breaks.
Really ridiculous.
Let's go to David. He's in New Mexico listening online. Go ahead, David.
Hey, yeah, her name means battle, so that's appropriate.
Huh. All right.
She probably has Northern European, Scandinavian connection in her family. It's not Hilda in the United States is a kind of a frumpy name, but it's a little more. Yeah, and it's in the United States we pronounce it kind of ugly. You say Hilda, and then in Europe, Scandinavia, it's more Hilde.
Hilde.
Kind of.
Yep.
Yeah, Hilde. So it's not quite so frumpy sounding. To answer a question, I thought about it after you'd asked me. George Norrie, his advertisement probably was for some health product that he was pushing that was running his ads. It was kind of funny because that night that you'd asked me that question, I was the replay from his previous night's program is played on that WGNS out of Tennessee, and I was on that night right after your program, and coincidentally on his program on that replay right after your program again tonight. But what I called about is the coming civil war, or actually it's kind of beginning here in New Mexico right now.
Really?
Because there's an incompatible showdown, meaning legally incompatible, basically orders or intentions by. We were talking about the sheriffs the other night. There was 29 of the 33 sheriffs in the state were not going to enforce the gun laws.
Right.
The legislature's
That's what got Sarah all riled up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that movement has it exponentially increases every day. Yesterday there were 29 sheriffs and 6 county commissions that had voted to make their counties sanctuary counties. Now there's 14 counties, and 3 municipalities have added to that.
How many counties in New Mexico total?
33.
Wow, so more than half, or almost, or was it 14 plus the other few, or 14 total?
No. Well, there's 2 different things. There's 33 counties, but there was 29 of the 33 sheriffs is what we had. Now it's 30 of the.
Wow. Are refusing to enforce the new gun restrictions in New Mexico. That's pretty good news. David, thanks for sharing that with us here tonight. Check out more of Chris on his show. He's got his own video and audio program. It's Freedom Decrypted over at freedomdecrypted.com. He does that every Saturday.
And I will do the violence story tomorrow too.
All right. See you tomorrow.
If you're looking for work, it's a process of elimination, and you're trying not to be eliminated. So here's a tip for making the cut, and this might seem subtle, but to the person interviewing you, it's not. There is a world of difference between applicants who convey, "I need a job," and those who simply ooze, "I want to work," especially in these lean times when many you're competing with will seem desperate in "I'll take anything" mode. If you convey specific interest in this job at this company, you will be conspicuous. Thus, the value of going to school on the company you're applying to before the interview. With money and attention so tight now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips for job seekers and everyone else, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your weekend edition of the Liberty Beat. For the week ending Friday, February 22nd, 2019. Gold opened Friday at $1,326. Silver opened at $15.87. And Bitcoin was trading around $3,942. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you.